What's up, Luda? It's your trainer, Money Mayweather. Tell them other MCs to put their motherfucking mics down, cause you the truth. It's round one. Dedication, hard work, prayers and belief, and a good team.
Back up on that ass. Back to put rappers on one knee like they bout to run a 100-meter dash. Bow down to greatness before I get pissed and run up in the stands like the Indiana Pacers. Covered all my bases, straight, no chases. Diamonds on my chain look like my neck's full of glaciers. Titanic flow, Titanic dough. Women on my nuts like where the Titanic go? I've been scouring the earth, making my fans catch the Holy Ghost at my shows like your grandma in church and the fat lady singing. It's over for you rappers, can't none of y'all bust. You're just sacks full of semen. And I got the women screaming. They could catch my balls on any given Sunday like my name's Willie Demon or LL Cool. So if your boyfriend thinks you loyal to his ass, he's a fucking fool. Got jewels on my pinky, jewels on my wrist. I kinda say his name is Ludacris. Bitch, please, you messing with some real OGs with $1 million whips that I ship these. Got a convenient proof is that the ozone is bad, cause I've been smoking trees. We fire up the blunt and put it in the air like Evel Knievel stunts. What you want from it? I got pistols for the haters. Your fam will be in black like they was playing for the Raiders. And your music isn't favored. And DJs, they never bring it back like when you go and borrow something from your neighbors, like a cup full of sugar, a roll full of salt. The name on my car insurance is your fucking fault. And if you sitting on chrome, I'll call up my boys and have you stripped of your medals like Marion Jones, nigga.
Champ, you got it. Keep on moving. They ain't got nothing on you. Watch for the sneak dissing. These boys will smile in your face and stab you right in the back. Breathe. Take some water. This is Money in the Bank. They defeating themselves, champ. You know what you can do. You Luda. You looking good. Let's go. Come on, baby. Hard work and dedication. You know what it is, man.
Let's go.
Keep fighting.
Back up on the scene. Back to put a nail in these rappers' coffins. I got the hammer in my jeans. Call me Mr. Fix-It. Barrel stay hotter than a fresh batch of homemade buttermilk biscuits. A tisket, a tasket, a custom-made casket. Luda leaves intruders stretched out like gymnastics. And acrobatics, I'm superstar status. The mouth for the south like gangster grills, you bastards. The international traveler. And I may not be much to you, but I'm the shit out in Africa. So put your fist up. Even the Statue of Liberty lit a flame for the way that I lit my wrist up. You can't compete with me. I got them stuck like I made 1,000 rappers put shackles on their feet with me. And then I broke free. I'll let them loose when Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston become drug free. I'm the baddest mother, shut it like Shaft was. Leaving rappers with headaches like bad drugs. They should've warned you. You got defeated by the Heat, but we'll just say we Alonzo mourned you. So call the coroner. I'll show up to your funeral with some gators like I'm fresh out of Florida. Call me the Swamp Thing. Y'all headed in the wrong direction like you hit the subway and caught the wrong train. So don't fuck with it. I'm sending lyrical bullets right at your dome. Fuck niggas better duck with it, or else you stuck with it. You get stomped so bad you'll leave the scene thinking 8 young bucks did it. But not in Cashville. You lost your feeling like coming down off X, chasing effects of your last pill. You fucking Daffy Drill. You's a Daffy Duck. And I'm the undefeated champ. Y'all niggas suck.
I told these motherfuckers can't fuck with you, man. I'm the best of the best. The head honcho.
Salute, and welcome to everybody coming into the chat that I see. You are now back over here in the Black Ocean, swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Let me shout out the people that I see coming in here. Hopefully you shared this and hit that like button on the way in. I see Ben Gorgie. What's the name of the song on the intro, brother? That is the song Undisputed by Ludacris featuring Floyd Money Mayweather. I see RG Titan 901. Salute to you. Brother Robert X, Michael Williams. Salute to everybody that's coming in. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you have asked me, did I see that clip rather, of this sister? They say she was a South African and, of the tether class, crawling on her knees to Prince Charles there, okay, or King Charles rather, okay? I don't acknowledge none of them as royalty. The Sword family, like I said, if you're new to this channel, you may want to check my broadcast that I did on the extensive history of the Soiled family, aka Royal family, as to why I would not recommend anyone be mourning her, especially nobody that's foundational Black American and on code. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I put together a broadcast that's going to go into detail about not only what I think about that despicable display, but we're going to look at a bunch of mindsets that are broken and compromised, and we're going to examine the worship of whiteness. Okay, so now, as you see on your screen here, a lot of you remember when that demonic, filthy witch, so-called Queen Elizabeth, passed, one of the biggest, most murderous, longest reigning demonic monarchs on the face of the earth. May she rest in peace forever. When she passed, you seen a lot of Caribbeans, continental Africans mourning this people, that demon. And as you see, this woman here has a picture of her on her shirt, sitting there smiling. She's a Caribbean woman. Now, if you know history, see, this is the important part, family. If you know history, you learn exactly what these people, these colonizers around the world have inflicted on people. So if you're in your right frame of mind, there's no way you would mourn one of these tyrants when they pass. See, we don't have to celebrate that death, but we damn sure don't have to mourn them neither, okay? See, we always expected to show grace to people. We're going to get into a lot of that. Cause see, I'm not going to just get on the tether class. We're going to look at some of our domestic coons too. But see, not only did I see continental Africans and Caribbean people mourning the Queen, you had some of our game goofy people here, very few in number, mourning her as well. If you don't know the history of the nation of Hong Kong, okay, which was under British occupation until 1994, you had some people over there, Chinese, mourning the damn Queen. It's crazy. I've told you before, white supremacy has the biggest and most successful psychological and mass media marketing campaign ever. I mean, they can commit pure atrocities and hold the world record for genocide on the planet everywhere and have still people chasing behind them and mourning them when they pass. Queen Elizabeth reigned over the British Empire for over, 70-something years? You know what I'm saying? I mean, one of the longest reigning world rulers ever. And the devastation that was wrought on people around the world, especially Black people, it's too long to even recount in one broadcast, okay? So what we're going to do here tonight, we're not only going to just examine that. I see you, Brother Rob. Peace to you coming in. Premier Homes, Pilot Talk TV, salute to you. AK Sour God, I see you. Vincent Williams Sr., welcome, brother. Y'all in for a treat here tonight because we about to break some things down. Salute to Latravia Lawson for the cash up. I appreciate it very much, sister. I'm going to try to make sure I pay attention to that so I can shout you all out during the broadcast. You know, when I get to cooking, sometimes I don't check it. But hey, we're going to make sure we acknowledge everybody tonight. And if you're new here, before I get into this broadcast, one thing I do, if you contribute, I will list your name on the community tab about an hour or so after the broadcast, unless you request to remain anonymous. I respect people's privacy. Now, that being said, I'm going to open this broadcast with some words from one of our immortal Grandmaster teachers. And he's going to break some things down because, see, when it comes to that mindset with that sister that was crawling on her knees before King Charles, you got to look at the factors that go into that. A lot of people have already touched on it, but see, one of the things that we really don't often think about, we got to look at the religious aspect of it too. So, like I said, tonight we're going to get into a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are here to learn some things. It's going to be very, very educational. So with that said, I'm going to let our Grandmaster teacher do some talking here. Let's take some notes.
And you're saying, I'm assuming, that history is being manipulated for an end
in itself. History, the Europeans began to manipulate history when they rose and began to expand into the broader world in the 15th and the 16th century, because they had to justify the slave trade and they had to justify the colonial system that followed. And modern racism has its incubation in that period. You cannot enslave a man and say he's a human being, that he has humanity, and that he was one of the forerunners of the world's religion. You cannot enslave an African and say this about him, because if you say he's a human being, then you're saying he's an extension of you. Then you cannot sell an African Christianity and call him a heathen and acknowledge the African contribution toward the creation of Christianity. So it's a contradiction in acknowledging that the man created Christianity, then come back and say that you are selling him Christianity because he is a heathen. So the European had to literally strip history of the...
So now, before we examine this clip, okay, you heard our Grandmaster teacher there speak on how religion plays into the brainwashing of our people, right? Okay, I want you to hold that thought on that conversation, because we're going to come back to him again in a couple of seconds here, but we're going to analyze this clip that everybody has been asking me to comment on, and we're going to get straight to that. I want y'all to check this out. And I see you there, brother. Okay, Latrabia Lawson, my apologies. I thought that was a sister. No disrespect, man. I appreciate the cash out nonetheless. But we're going to examine this. I'm going to show y'all something a lot of people probably didn't point out. Now, that was that despicable clip, and we're going to get into some more history here in a minute, but one of the things that I took note of while she was crawling over there, did you see the looks on everybody else's faces when she got ready to do that? They were looking at her like, okay, you've lost your damn mind. Now, they say she's a South African. I'm not sure, hadn't been able to verify that. But this is what I want to say about when you see that display. Let's get deep with this here, right? For my own cold continental African brothers, okay, and my own cold Caribbean brothers, because I'm mostly concerned about the global black diaspora starting right here at home with Foundational Black Americans. I want the men to understand what a bad look that is when the women of your group will commit such a public, disgraceful display like that, as far as getting on their knees, crawling over to a damn colonizer, a vicious bastard like King Charles that wouldn't even spit on her to put her out if she was on fire. Do you know what a horrible look that is for the men of the group? Because that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Now, I understand that you can't control what everybody in your group does, but I have to point this out. This woman was comfortable doing that because many people have pointed this out, but she knew she wasn't going to get much of a backlash from her community. Now, when you compare our coons to that, even our coons know not to go that far, because they know we're going to give you the business. We catch you doing that. And, we've got some of the most despicable, heinous coons ever. I can't recall seeing none of them on their hands and knees publicly doing things like that. Okay. Salute to Sister Patricia Jenkins coming in, my brother Dwayne Williams. I see Lee Holmes. Salute to you, brother. Creative World Films. Welcome. But, here's the thing, family. Even our most despicable coons, buck dancing sellouts that they may be, they have some sense of dignity. They won't go that far to get the bag publicly. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like we have to point out the difference and ask, why would a woman do that? Why would a black woman do that? Let me speak this way on this subject because it's despicable. It pisses me off every time I see anything like this. I'm going to take it a step further. I don't know how many of you are well-traveled in my chat, but I assume many of you may be. We have a very intelligent audience over here. We have a range of different professionals that tune into this channel over here. But if you ever visited an African nation, I'm going to tell you one of the things that irks me anytime you go to most of these places in the continent. I understand it's their way and their custom to greet people a certain way, but I implore you, my continental African brothers and sisters, you white folks get all these planes, stop all that singing and dancing and greeting them, because when you go to a European country, when you come to an American, any place in America, ain't no white folks jumping and dancing to greet you. They take your kindness for weakness, and that plays into a lot. So I'm tying it to this. The mindset for that woman to have to crawl on her knees like that, or to think that that was something she should do. Sadly, family, and I say this responsibly, but I'm doing this in a way that I hopefully encourage some of the others from her community to start checking people when they do that. They tend to view white people as guys. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I've had several of my friends that are on code that have told me how some of their family has raised them to view white people, okay? So when you view them as little pseudo guys, you think you're beneath them. You think you're supposed to be on your knees. See, do you understand how broken that is when any black person does it? But see, I'm going to tell you why that struck me so hard when I saw this, family. That's a woman, a black woman, okay? Now, let me tell you something, sisters, in case you think I'm being hard with what I'm about to say. Over here, you know, I promote brothers and sisters being on code, okay? So I'm going to remind you, black women, whether you Caribbean black women, continental African black women, my foundational black American sisters damn sure should know what I'm about to say next. As a woman, you are the first teacher of our children. As the first teacher of our children, you are the first instructors of a nation. Now, what does it look like for a woman, the life bearers of our community, the first teacher of our nation, to be on her knees crawling before a vile maggot like King Charles? See, it's conversations, family, and family in the extended global black diaspora. It's conversations y'all gonna have to have with one another to straighten that out. Because see, that's something that if any of us from our people, foundational black Americans did it, oh, we're not going to let you hear the end of that. That's you ought to be looked at as a pariah. You don't do nothing like that. That's disrespectful to your entire community and your entire group. You see what I'm saying? See, a lot of people probably not going to touch on it that way, but see, when I talk to you, when I talk to everybody that's in this chat that showed up over here, salute to you, brother CRU. I see you, brother Joe. Welcome to you. We built this. Salute to you. Be one for life. I see you. When I talk to any of you in this chat in my audience, I hope that I can teach you things that remind you of who you are as black people, no matter what your lineage is. I want you to be aware that the only way that we're going to defeat the system of white supremacy and get ourselves where we need to be is for us to have an internal dignity that would never allow us to crawl on our knees anywhere. I'm going to say this direct, plain, and clear to every black person listening to the sound of my voice, live or recorded. There is no black person that belongs anywhere on their damn knees in the presence of no white people or anybody else. That is not our station in life. That is not what we were put here to be. So when I talk to you, I want to remind you of who you really are. And if you do disagree with that, if some people say, because I've seen some people online saying, oh, well, everybody don't have hatred in their heart. Y'all being harsh, criticizing her. My question to you is, do you think that you belong on your knees before white people? And if so, why is that? What religion are you practicing that makes you see yourself? We, who are the progenitor race on the planet, we are the oldest people on the planet. What makes you think that which comes first is beneath that which came after? I'm ask the question again. What makes you think that which comes first is beneath or lesser than that which came after? I'm going to say something else before I play the other part of this, which is going to show you why it's so despicable for her to be on her knees before that bastard King Charles. understand that brothers especially, you know the reason why white men copy us and try to talk like us and try to cut their hair like us and dance like us and want to be around us and doing everything that we do. They look at us and they ain't gonna like this. Oh, they're gonna be pissed when I say it, but it's the truth and it's gonna make perfect sense. They look at us as the original and the strongest form of masculinity. Now, and true enough, we're under a system of white supremacy and we're subjugated up under them. But nonetheless, let's break some things down with that. Speaking primarily to the brothers here, because I'm going to do this so that you understand how to talk to these sisters if you're a continental African brother or a Caribbean brother. Understand that they look at us as the epitome of real masculinity because of all the atrocities and hardships that we faced and survived. They know deep down, whether they say it to our faces or not, many of them are too proud to say it, they know that most of them could not have survived that. So we are the epitome of manhood in their eyes. That's why they need a whole bunch of tanks and militarized police gear for black people with signs in the streets. Because if we the men, the warrior class are out there, oh, they already know what it is if we decide to turn up on code together. So that's why they imitate us. So now, I say this to you sisters anywhere in the global black diaspora. You need to understand that just like they look at us as the epitome of black manhood, the white woman knows that you are the complete woman. See, during these plantation days over here for foundational black Americans, it was the foundational black American sisters that were enslaved that was taking care of their children. There were some of the healers and doctors. A lot of them, they went and got the herbalist or the healer amongst our enslaved ancestors on the plantations to heal them. So these people really do look at us with a love-hate relationship. They look at us as parental figures because we are the ones that taught them everything they know, okay? We are the ones that coming out of slavery, we had all the skills because we built every damn thing. See, you got to really start to look at why you don't ever look at yourself as less than to anybody in the dominant society, right? Everything I'm saying can be verified through history. So now I'm saying that about history to say this. This is why it's so important to study it and pass it down to your children so your children not only have an immediate sense of your family history in modern era, that's very important. Always let your children know who the most successful in the family are. The pride that you take in them, hopefully that's something we need to get back to doing that as families across this country, celebrating our accomplishments and our achievements in our family, but also take it on back to your personal family history. Know who the people in your family are that were, some of them, well known, okay? When you start looking at that, you bring that forward into the present to instill confidence in your children so that one day they don't be on their knees before no damn colonizer. So now that I got that out the way, I'm going to play for you, family, a clip out of this documentary about the royal family. Now, this little piece of shit that you're looking at here with these big-ass honey bun satellite ears on the side of his damn head and this lice-loaded haircut up here, this is King Charles when he was a boy. And you're going to see what they said about a black servant in this clip. So I'm putting it right after that because I want you to see exactly what the way these people think about black people over there today and what they thought about them when, you know, Queen Elizabeth with her rotten ass, she rest in peace yet again, when she was living, okay? I'm going to play this and I want y'all to check this out.
It's extremely difficult sometimes to keep a straight face. When the Home Secretary said to me, there's a gorilla coming in. So I said, you know, what an extraordinary remark to make, very unkind about anybody. And so, you know, I stood in the middle of the room and pressed the bell and the doors opened, and there was a gorilla. And I had the most terrible trouble in keeping, you know, he had short body, long arms.
Now y'all heard that now. They're talking about an actual servant of his. They calling him a gorilla. They all laughing and giggling and cackling about it. That's that piece of shit, Queen Elizabeth, when she was younger. And that's Charles over there. I want y'all to look at their faces. See, this is the thing that we try to tell a lot of our continental African and Caribbean brothers and sisters. You can look at America as the big house. We've been right here in the belly of the beast. We know how these people are the world over. We are under no illusions about it because they made sure we knew the difference. They don't have no little classifications. Even if you biracial over here, You're genetically part black and part white, but they classify you as black. Don't matter how light you are. And see, I'm going to throw this in here too. Meghan Markle is learning that the hard way. Talking about she never knew she was black till she went over there. Now, you knew. She just thought that she was going to get away with that. See, I'm going to tell you something about the UK if you never went over there. Their racism, yeah. Don't let nobody fool you. Anybody from the UK will tell you, or if you've ever visited over there, oh boy, don't think they know this. A lot of people be talking about Canada too. Oh no, they all on code with that racism. See, when you start mixing in bloodlines like Meghan Markle, okay, that's when they start like, whoa, nigga. And see, let me point out something while we talking about the UK. We're going to give you a little bit of history facts too. Look up Charlotte of Mecklenburg. That was the first black queen of England. Yeah, she was biracial. They are terrified to death of anything tainting that bloodline again. That's why they treating Meghan Markle the way they treating her. And I'm going to say this, I don't wish it on them. But boy, Prince Harry don't understand. They killed his mama. You think they won't try to off his wife and them children? These people are demonically evil, man. Y'all have no idea. Like I said, look down this channel for the broadcast I've done on the history of the royal family and do your own research on top of that. But I'm going to let this further clip can play further here so y'all can continue to hear how they was cackling talking about this servant of theirs that they call a gorilla.
I had the most appalling couple.
I don't know if it's...
So now, clip was cut short. I made the point about how they view black people over there. And my brother Richard Sudan, I'm going to have to get him on the channel because he's over there in the UK. He'll tell you how the racism is over there. It's no different than what we're dealing with over here, right? Okay, especially when it comes to the royal family and all of that. So I wanted to make that part clear. That's why I threw that clip in there, all right? So now I want to show y'all something else. Again, this goes back to the religious factor. That white Jesus, boy. You know, some of our people over here big on white Jesus, but I know y'all remember this piece of shit right here. That's right, I'm calling him that because, see, anytime that you go hugging on your deceased brother's killer, I'm going to tell you something, family. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen a lot of things during my lifetime. But when Botham Jean's brother, Brant Jean, I think his name is, hugged his brother's murder in that courtroom, I was stunned. I don't know about you all, but I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I knew, I said, okay. And then Tammy the Mammy, we're going to get on her too. I don't think we're going to leave her out. When I saw that, I was like, oh man, this, I was astonished. But see, again, if you go back and think about the statements they were making leading up to that, what was they always talking about? Religion, religion, religion. Now, let's be clear. Let me say something so that I don't lose anybody or make anybody, you know what I'm saying, think I'm picking on your particular religion. Nothing's wrong with any religion as long as it's not misused. Okay? And I'm going to let the elder Dr. Clark break that down a little bit further, but nothing is wrong with any religion as long as it's not misused. You better understand with the dominant society when it comes to religion, if that religion isn't used to empower them, they don't have no use for it. They'll tell you in God we trust all day long, but the minute that religion leads to them being weakened or them even thinking that they got to share equal power with everybody, they'll get rid of that. They're up and right now and be like, oh yeah, we everything but Christians. Think about it. The Ku Klux Klan, they call themselves a Christian organization. So now you see, when you look at this, and I'm going to play it, we got to use this here. It'll go back down the memory lane, give us a teaching lesson thoroughly on why the misuse of religion is very damaging. It will lead you to be up in a damn courtroom hugging on your brother's killer. Same thing with Tammy the Mammy. And you know what? Let's just play this, because see, I have to refresh the audience's memory with a lot of these things. I'm going to tie this together probably like nobody else has. I'm going to let this clip play.
Possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
You despicable son of a bitch, you. I'm pausing this right here because this makes me angry all over again. Family, before I let this play further, we all got people in our family that we done had issues with. We got some family that we not that close to. But I'll be damned if you kill anybody in my family. Man, they come to go on the trial, I'm going to run and hug you. First of all, I don't even think I could be in the courtroom because if I get a chance to get my hands on you, I'm going to leave that right there. But this, that makes me question, did you really care about your brother at all? It's one thing to make a statement talking about forgiving, but you do this. I'm going to say it just like I said it when I first saw this. I can't remember any time, and I want somebody to correct me if you've ever seen it. I can't remember any time that any white person has hugged on the killer of their family member in a damn courtroom. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong about that, but I'm going to let this continue.
The courtroom fell silent as these two embraced for nearly a minute. Emotions becoming so high, even the presiding judge was overwhelmed. Judge Tammy Kemp embraced Geiger and gave her a Bible.
You can have mine. I got 3 or 4 more at home. This is the one I use every day before I go to work. This is your job for the next month.
But the display of forgiveness inside the courtroom has sparked a heated debate over the judge's actions and whether Geiger, who was convicted on a murder charge, is even worthy of any forgiveness so soon. So with me now, CNN's Van Jones.
Now, before we let this buck-dancing buffoon Van the Crime Man Jones talk, I got to get on Tammy the Memory. Because now, as far as I know, she's one of us, foundational Black American. But this shows you how dangerous misuse of religion can be. Because, see, understand something. If you are a sitting judge presiding over a case where you're supposed to be administering justice, your judgment is clouded. If she would have had the power to let her go, who's to say she wouldn't have did it? You cannot trust these people like this. If they are under that spell of misuse of religion where it's forgive, and I recommend this book to everybody to read every time I touch on this. You need to go and get the book, How to Make a Negro Christian by Charles Colcock Jones, and read that cover to cover. He was a white slave master, and he detailed in that book how he misused religion to make the slaves on the plantation docile and subservient by taking the parts out of the Bible about justice and retribution and only leaving the parts in about docility and subservience. But I digress on that. If you are that compromised with the misuse of religion and you sitting up here and you got a Becky or a Zaddy, you're really worthless to our people, and you are one of the greatest internal threats to our people. See, it's deeper than just somebody's opinion. When you are in a position of power like that, and you have the ability to affect lives, we can't ignore your cooning when it comes to that. See, when I saw that, that really made you have to question a lot of the people that are around you if you wasn't already a cautious person. You have to think about these things. What if you are sitting in a courtroom and they get to feeling sorry for the person that has aggrieved you if they're in the dominant society, all because they view them as gods in their mind? Okay? You got to think about this, but I'm going to let this further play. I want you to hear what Van Jones punk ass about to say, because I'm going to break this down on this punk too.
He is the host of CNN's Redemption Project, this extraordinary original series bringing the families of victims face to face with their perpetrators. So nice to see you, my friend. Yeah. I mean, on this story, this has sparked such a conversation. And where are you on the subject of forgiveness?
Well, first of all, the crime is almost unforgivable. I mean, you have a police officer going into the wrong home rather than ducking for cover and calling for backup. You just...
No, it ain't no almost unforgivable, man. It is unforgivable. It is unforgivable. And see, we need to get comfortable saying that too, family. We need to get comfortable saying, no, we don't have to forgive you when you commit egregious crimes against us like that and for no reason. You sitting in your home. This man was on his sofa eating ice cream in his underwear, from what I understand. See, before I further get into my commentary on what he just said, when this came out, I recommended an item to people. It's a type of doorstop that you can get. In fact, I'm going to put it on the community tab after this broadcast. I should have had the link to that so I could put it in the chat. But there's a doorstop that you can get that it has a hundreds of pound resistance to it that can help you prevent that. And see, here's the thing. Van Jones making this statement up here talking about almost unforgivable. You already know he trying to stay in favor with white people because I'm finna go here with it. We all know what Van Jones lay up with. See, a lot of people don't like to talk about this because some of them are interracial relationships. But see, I'll be damned. When it comes to you sitting your ass on TV, being somewhat of a spokesperson, or they placing you as a spokesperson for black society, and you talking reckless like this, because that is reckless talk, talking about almost unforgivable. You wouldn't see white people up here saying forgive a black cop. See, just flip it around, and we have to go here with it. We have to simplify these things. Imagine if Amber Geiger was Tanya Geiger, black Tanya Geiger, okay? And she walked in and shot white Barry John, okay? Billy John, whatever you want to call him. You really think anybody white on TV would be talking about it's almost unforgivable? They'd be like, boy, no. They wouldn't even buy the bullshit excuse that she came out with. How you thought you was in the wrong apartment? We saw from the pictures that it was a red mat in front of his door. The door was on hydraulic springs, so there's a lot left to be questioned about how you got your ass in there. And then after you shot him, they delayed calling the brother medical help. And see, damn it, I'm going to say this too. When that murder happened, which was a despicable crime, and that bitch didn't get long enough in prison because they were sitting there hugging on and shit, Foundation of Black Americans was the one stomping hardest to get justice for that. The Caribbean community was somewhat silent. Y'all can't be silent like that. Not when it comes to your people getting killed. That's the time to get on code and unite with your brothers and put foot to ass to get justice. That's the time when you have to speak up. See, just like you can criticize us and tell us what we shouldn't get and shouldn't have reparations, you better be focused on when they're killing you like this. Because see, whether you know it or not, when you step in America, your race is your team. And when we see bastards like Van Jones sitting up here, just like I'm calling them out and going in on it right here, we draw a line in the sand between them and us because that means you not for us. We got to put you over there with them folks. You compromise, Van. You compromise. We don't get to some more examples of that, but I'm going to let him continue talking.
Shoots this guy who's eating ice cream in his underwear. And the verdict is really unfair. You get 10 years, you'll probably serve 5. I'm working with people who are serving 30 years for drug offenses where nobody got hurt. And so in the face of that injustice, what do you do? Any response is fine. If you're outraged and say, listen, I can't forgive this, I understand that. But I think the fact that this young man's brother, who...
Listen to this mealy mouth bastard. Any response is fine. No, Van, there's only one response. Justice. Justice, not manslaughter, not secondary. We got to get them prosecuted on first-degree murder charges. Just like we seen here, there was a small measure of justice for our departed sister, Tatiana Jefferson, and her father. Aaron Dean was convicted on 12 years of manslaughter, but no, man, that was first-degree murder. Just like if you make a mistake and you got your CDL license, they hit you with a higher fine because you were supposed to be a professional driver. The police should, if you doing stuff like this, shooting black people in the back, just firing for no reason. With Aaron Dean's case, that race soldier, instead of going to the door to knock, you just opened fire when you saw somebody in the home. You didn't say, okay, maybe that's the homeowner. No regard for any children or elderly people in there. You just shot. And you were supposed to be on a wellness call. How the hell you do a wellness check without going to the front door first? They so damn scary. But no, there's only one response. Produce justice, and they have to start going to jail on first-degree murder, because even with George Floyd, that was first-degree murder. It was premeditated. Look, we take the victories where we can get them, but we still got a lot of work to do in this country as far as getting the proper justice that our people deserve. Because, see, one of the tricks that they love to pull, and our brothers shout out to Professor Black Truth for this, when they convene those grand juries, what they'll do, they'll present every other charge except for murder and first-degree murder. They present the lesser charges, okay? We're going to have to break the back of that, too. So that's why I say it's a matter of life and death for us to be on code. But see, let's let this mealy-mouthed worm continue talking here, because there's a lot more to dissect.
Knew him and knew the kind of person he was, said, I forgive you because my brother would have. And I want you to give your life to Christ, to redemption, and I want to give you a hug and encourage you. That should...
She can give her life to Christ, and she can give her ass to that justice system. To hell with that. And see, Look at Van Jones' eyes while he talking. I'm telling you to do that for a reason because, see, I'm going to say it. This going to make a lot of people mad. I know it don't apply to everybody, but damn it apply to a lot. Too many. When you're a black man or a black woman and you sitting up here laying up with the mayonnaise people, you become detached and soulless from your people. You really do. You become tone deaf to the issues and the things that affect the community, even when it's life or death. I just want to point that out. Y'all might think I'm reaching with that, but I tell you what, look at his eyes and see if he even feel any type of thing for what happened to that brother at the time. I'm going to let this continue.
Be okay too. In other words, I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but the idea that you have people who have that capacity, who can find that within them to say, this is completely unjust, but I wish you no ill will. And I don't want to become bitter. I don't want to become the hatred and the anger that I'm seeing take over this process.
He should feel empowered to
He should feel empowered to do that.
Yeah.
And
no, the hell he shouldn't, Van. And Brooke Shields, Brooke, whatever her name is, Brooke, what's her name? Brooke Baldwin, whatever. Shit. Anyway, that alabaster sitting up there co-signing that. Let me point something out to you about the mainstream media family. Do not let it be lost on you, the optics in this clip of them sitting this weak, punk-ass, buck-broken black man up here talking about he should feel empowered. How the hell you feel empowered for forgiving somebody that has taken life from your family? That's a danger to not only your family, but the entire black society. And then you sit this weak, buck-broken black man in front of this white woman up here, and she just a nod like, that's a good little boy. No, this is unacceptable, and this is why I take the hardline stance of saying we should ostracize every Van Jones, every Candace Owens, whoever. These buck-broken bastards like this, these people are dangerous, man. They don't have common sense at all. See, look, I'm just going to go here with it. If all of us were on some type of ship out to sea, these are the people you got to throw overboard because they're trying to punch holes in your ship and sink everything. You got to get rid of these motherfuckers, man. They cannot come around us, is what I'm saying. We have to ostracize them and make them the pariahs that they are, and we have to make sure that the younger generation know that this ain't it right here. You don't do this. This shit is dangerous, man. I'm gonna let him finish up.
And I was moved by it. Listen, whenever there's violence across racial lines, it's freighted, man. Because it's like, are we going to accept this kind of mistreatment forever? Yeah. Is there going to be any justice here? But for an individual to say, I don't want to give in to hatred, I think is a good thing.
There have been all these conversations about what if the races were reversed.
Yes.
Charles Blow, opinion columnist for the New York Times, commentator here at CNN, this is what he wrote. Black people repeatedly demonstrate an otherworldly beauty in the granting of grace to the undeserving. But the question remains, where is America's reciprocity? When are black people in the wrong and in the vice granted this grace when are innocent black people granted this grace?
I'm going to tell you when we get granted that grace is when we force them to produce justice like we always have throughout history. See, understand something. When you go back to the civil rights era and you look at the work that Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and everybody before them were doing, it wasn't really policies and voting that got things done. Our people had to hit the streets, man. Our people had to hit the streets. Look at the Red Summer 1919. We can go on and on naming different historical events, okay? We can name different historical figures that have had uprisings. You have to force these demonic, unjust people to produce justice. At least we've always had to up until this point in time. Because, see, I'm going to tell you why it's always been like that. I'm going to give you something really deep to think about here tonight, family. When you look at race relations in this country, for foundational black Americans, we have to start with the issue of settling the debt of reparations. If the generations were different, if things were getting better, if things had changed, we would not see such pushback to us getting reparations. Now, you got some white people that support it, but it's not the overwhelming majority because, see, think about it. That means that racism and white supremacy mindset has been passed down to their family like heirlooms. So if they were really about trying to right things, okay, and make things better and get all this racial harmony they talking about and really want to see a post-racial society, you would say, if you were a person of justice, okay, my ancestors and elders did black society wrong here. They built this country for free. We didn't have nothing to do with it because we wasn't living, but we've inherited the benefits of what our family forced upon these people. And we look at black society today, we can clearly see the difference in the economic situation in our communities. How about we go ahead and do the right thing? If you really want to call everybody your fellow Americans, let's just do the right thing. Produce justice, pay reparations, stop talking about where the money coming from and all of that, because anytime any other group, all these other groups in this country that have gotten their reparations, by the way, we have fought for them to get it. They never say where the money is coming from then, not with the so-called Native Americans, because most of them are $5 Indians, not with the Japanese that were in internment camps, not with the Jewish people that got reparations from Germany and America. We fought for all these people to get compensation, okay? There's many more groups. Those are just the tip of the iceberg. But yet when it's time for black people to get reparations, you see Jewish people like Bernie Sanders, it's not feasible. Motherfucker, it was feasible for your people when you had Jesse Jackson and everybody stomping that you got paid. Al Sharpton, there was a lot of people that was pushing for them to get a settlement here from the United States, which the Holocaust did not happen on American soil. That happened in Germany. And see, if we gonna go there, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Watch me tie this in, family. I'm gonna let these bastards continue in a minute, but we're gonna get some education over here tonight. Do you understand how many black people died in the Holocaust in Germany? So technically, when they got reparations, the Jewish people, black people should have got reparations at that time too for that. If we gonna go there with it, if that's how we doing it. See, this is why knowing history is a weapon. You can use it very surgically to debunk any white supremacists. And even more importantly, if any of you are on these reparations task force, you pull your sources from history. This is why they're trying so hard to rewrite their history, talking about critical race theory. I'm like, no, don't be schizophrenic now, dominant society. If you Southern heritage proud and you proud of America, like they say, if you proud of America, then you can't be hiding parts of the history. Let's tell the whole truth. You got to be proud of all the history. You see what I'm saying? This is why I don't want any Confederate statues torn down, because that's visible evidence that we can point to and say, see, you still have this up and you still celebrating it, and this is evidence of what was. You see what I'm saying? So you take the emotions out of it and start thinking strategically. I'm going to let them continue here because we're going to really get deep in this tonight.
100% correct.
Yeah.
You know, it's because of our experience, you know, with being enslaved, Jim Crow, terrorism. We have developed in our community almost a superhuman capacity for grace and forgiveness. The way that we see the Christian, command to love our enemies, to forgive, we take it very, very seriously. We don't see it returned. And I think often America takes our grace for granted. They assume that this community can continue to be brutalized forever and that we're never going to retaliate and do the things, frankly, that George Washington and other people did when they felt they were being mistreated. Everybody assumes that black people are going to be forgiving. I don't think that it's a bad thing that we have this capacity. I think it's a bad thing that America doesn't respect it and doesn't reciprocate. But this is an example. We've had...
Van, if you truly believe that, boy, what you prepared to do about it? Especially now that you've gotten that $100 million from Jeff Bezos. By the way, I wonder what that boy had to do to get that money. They don't give Negroes $100 million for free, family. Van, if you serious about that, what has he done since he's gotten broke off by Jeff Bezos? Because, see, let's be clear. I'm finna put all your business out there, Van Jones. See, I normally don't pocket watch, but when it comes to Sambos, coons, and white supremacists, I'm going to pocket watch it. Yeah, do y'all understand that while he was doing all that crying and whining about Trump, you can find and verify what I'm about to state very easily. Van Jones has several little foundations. He was all up in Trump's office begging for money. Rolling money. A lot of these people that act like they hate Trump, see, they ain't gonna tell you about when they was all up there on Capitol Hill. You ask some people from D.C., they'll tell you. Oh yeah, we finna get in your business tonight, Van. If you really care so much about what he said he did then, you would think, okay, once he got this opportunity he has now, you could be trying to produce justice. Even if you said, okay, I'm going to go and pick the best and the brightest of law students and fund their education. You could do that. You could do it. You could come and help contribute to the funds for people to have their own police force in their communities. There's a lot you could do, Van. See, I'm pointing this out because he don't care like he say he do, and none of them do. I'm going to let this fool continue, though.
2 interracial hugs now. We had the 2 little toddlers that hugged,
Yes.
and it moved the world. And now we have these two adults hugging. There's something about this. There's a desire for some kind of reconciliation in the country, but it comes at great cost to black people to extend it. I hope that white people look at themselves in the mirror and say, look, could I do that? Would I do that? Shouldn't I find a way to be?
See, this is a weak man if I ever saw one. Van, you don't hope that they do it. You stand up like a black man with a spine and say, this is what you will do by my people. That's what you do. Boy, I tell you right now, can y'all imagine if one of our Grandmaster scholars was still living? I had the pleasure of meeting him before he passed. If Dr. Khalid Muhammad was still alive and he got a chance to talk to this bastard while he was talking about this at that time, oh, sometimes I just imagine these things. But like I said, that's what a man is supposed to do, because as black men, we're responsible for the security and safety of our society. This is the weakest example of black manhood, period. See, dudes like this, you can't come nowhere around men that actually care about our people, because we're not going to look at you with no type of respect. I see him as a broken, pathetic liability. That's right. That's exactly what I see him as. I'm going to let him continue to condemn himself, though.
Be more forgiving in my own life and with other communities of people.
Because there's a whole lot.
Now that you heard the end of that maggot, and I included that in there for a reason, I'm going to bring the elder Dr. John Henry Clark back, and y'all probably remember this very famous speech, "We have no friends," where he articulated exactly what our position was. So I've cut out the part where he was talking about religion. I'm going to let the elder speak, the ancestor speak. And I want y'all to pay attention to what he said, because, see, this is something that I'm saying this out of love to my continental African brothers and sisters. If you find this broadcast recorded, if you are listening to it live, you better pay close attention to what Dr. Clark is telling you about these religions. Let me let this ancestor speak.
A lot of illusions about Africa's relationship with other people in the world. There's a whole lot of illusion about our relationship to the religions in the world. And these belief systems that had its origin in Africa, all of them, and there is no exception, turned on African people. I said there is no exception. And there's one thing you have to get through your mind and keep it. Nothing that ever came from the European mind was meant to do anything but facilitate European domination of the world. And I said there's no exception. Everything that was brought into this continent, everything, every idea, every so-called religion was meant to dominate and to control. The Arabs had no illusions about it. The Europeans had no illusions about it. You were the ones with the illusions. And yet every element that went into the making of every major religion in the world started in Africa. Why is it that you are so naive? You let people redress something that you invented, sell it back to you, and enslave you through it.
Dominican. Now, family, you can't put it in no more plainer words than our beloved Grandmaster, Elder, and Ancestor Teacher, Dr. John Henry Clark, just put that. You have to ask yourself that question. See, there's a reason why I go back and study the works of our Grandmaster teachers, because they remind you of the path that you're supposed to be on. You have a lot of people that try to say things like, well, that was the history of the past and all of that. But see, understand that knowing your history helps you navigate the present and the future. And see, that information right there, if even just 10 people started a conversation about how you view religion, if it make you see white people as something that you're supposed to be less than or beneath, you could begin to change things. I know everybody over here in the chat room understands that tonight, right? So see, I put that part in there for a reason, because see, again, we got to look at that woman crawling on her damn knees. I wonder what her faith was. See, we got to start looking at these things and dissecting and analyzing it, so that when we're explaining it to our young people, we can use it to say, okay, you see this? This is why this occurred. When our children ask us questions about why are people acting this way, as far as off-code behavior, we better have some answers. We better have some answers, and we better have some examples of what happens when you see people continue on in a subjugated mind state like that versus the type of people that say, no, I'm not going to accept this. You see what I'm saying? We have to. So now that being said, we're going to look at something else that plays into a lot of people having the mindset, particularly those that are not foundational Black American, or why they view white people this way. Many of you have probably already seen this. You already know where we're going with it. I'm going to let this clip play, and it's going to make sense of why I included it here tonight.
Moms be white.
No, no.
Las dos muñecas lindas de Ori.
Buscar las que están allí.
¿Y cuáles que están allí?
Las que yo tengo allí guardadas.
¿Y cuáles son esas? Estas son las de ella.
Espérate, yo le voy a
Que se
buscar.
parecen a ella.
Mire,
This is the doll that I got her.
mira la cara, mira cómo ella los cachetes, mira.
Ella no le gusta esa muñeca. No le gusta. No le gusta.
Ella sí le gusta.
Ten, Ori. Ori, ten. Ori. Ori. Ori, ten. Ori, your dolly.
Mira la misma cara de tu hija, mira los cachetes, mira. Esta es la...
¿Cuál es la misma cara?
Family, that's a damn shame. Now you see where when they have that particular group, the Dominicans, and I ain't gonna lie, I got to see it. I know it's not all, but it's a lot to say most. Not only the ones that are here, but the ones over in the Dominican Republic. I Dominican, I know Black. Now you see where they come from, because see, that start when they're very young. See, you got to understand something. A child, and I know many of you over here who are parents understand what I'm about to say. A child is a very precious vessel of life. And whatever you pour into that vessel determines what that child is going to be in the future. You don't know what you're raising. So you want to pour into that child knowledge, confidence, wisdom, things of that nature that leads a person to become great, not only for themselves, but for the benefit of their people also, and their own families. Now, you seen that little gap-toothed jukebox, quarter-slot mouth mammy sitting up there pushing that damn doll, the one that looked like the child, away and shoving the white doll all in the face. See, it's not just the Hispanic community that has that theory about improve the race. It's all down there in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba too. You go to these places, it's sectioned off. The darker skinned people are on one side of these islands and the whiter skinned people are on the other. Okay? So when they come over here with that off-code behavior that you see, that's when it's a problem, especially as many of you have already seen these clips of these different nurses that were here in Atlanta, and they was talking about their icks and stuff. See, that's dangerous when people get into these positions like nurses, where they're responsible for your health care, when they become politicians. If you got this type of self-hating mindset, we got to take another look at you. Oh, we can't look at you as the same, because see, if you got skin like me, but you're not on code against white supremacy with me, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Especially if you're not of our lineage. See, that's why they place the Barack Obamas in powerful positions, but they're not powerful people. There's a big difference between that. You can be placed in a powerful position and not be a powerful person. Barack Obama was a prime example of that. You had people talking about when Barack was a president, oh, well, it's good for Black kids to see that. No, it's not. It's not good for Black people, especially young Black boys, to see a Blackish looking man in command of the highest office in the land, but you can't do nothing for the people that look like you. Which makes sense because he wasn't of our lineage, but I'm making the point to show you why we don't accept symbolism. We don't. See, we got to get off of this thing where we're supposed to accept symbolism because no other community accepts symbolism when they're in dire need. They are all about tangible solutions to any problem they have. All about tangible solutions. And that's the way we have to become accustomed to being. Because for so long, we have tried and tried in this country to go along to get along and follow in the suit and say, okay, if we do this, maybe these people respect us. If we do that, maybe they'll see us differently. Nothing has ever worked because they never will see us differently. Okay? There's another book I'm going to recommend. If you come over here, yeah, you're going to hear me name some books. There's a book called Boss of the Delta, and it chronicles the life and times of the politician racist Leander Perez down there in Louisiana. And I'm quoting, he said, the best way to hate an N-word is to hate them before they leave their mother's womb. Now, how you going to reason with something that damn demonic? You can't, family. You can't. The only thing you can do is defend yourself and protect yourself against that, which is exactly why we need our reparations, okay? See, all this question about going back and forth about why we should get it and all this, if we should, I'm going to tell you what my hardline stance is on that. If you don't qualify for it and you're not supporting us, you don't have no right to speak on it. You don't have no say. And I'm not going to argue with you either. If I ain't hearing go team out your mouth, I can't hear nothing you're saying. And I'm going to make sure I look at you as a potential undermining threat, depending on what type of position you have. Okay? So that's how we got to start viewing that. That's why I support 100% our brothers on the grassroots over there in California. Salute to y'all. Y'all the tip of the spear. Because as that goes, that's going to set the template for the rest of the nation. Because the goal should be to get it federally, but we got the wheels turning now. So any fool talking against that, something is wrong with you, man. See, we don't have people coming out from other groups when they're trying to get something, trying to undermine their people. We don't have that. Okay? So we're going to further continue examining where this mindset come from because, see, I'm going to tell y'all something, right? I want y'all to check this out. Salute to my first sergeant I see in here, too. Some chick named Star. Salute. Hey, we're gonna break something else down, right? I want y'all to pay attention to this. TikTok is actually the gift that keeps on giving as far as, like, presenting that broken mindset that we see, unfortunately, for some of the global black diaspora, because it's like when TikTok came on the scene, which, by the way, in China, they have a completely different algorithm. You don't see none of the foolishness that we see over here on China. It's all educational stuff. One day I'm going to have to do a presentation on that, and I'll break that down and show y'all the difference. Y'all would be completely shocked. But when TikTok hit the scene, it was like, man, a lot of these off-code Sambos and Sambets and these other places were just waiting to show their ass. We're gonna play a little bit of this here tonight because I want y'all to see how embarrassing this is, right? Let me let this play. Now, you saw that, right? Talking about how much better white men are and they loyal and everything. See, for continental African men, when you see that, you should be insulted. I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans on something. For any of you that's never been to an African nation, I'm going to go ahead and tell you something you'll see if you do decide to take a trip to damn near anywhere over there. When you go over there, and I'm speaking the truth, any of my continental African brothers that's in here or see this recorded, you're going to know I'm telling the truth too. I don't care where you go over there on the continent, 54 different nations, you see old, haggardly, raggedy looking white men or moderately aged white men that are broken dusty with some of the most beautiful African women you can ever see. The bedwetching is heavy over there because, see, they look at everything as white as better than their own people. Even if it's somebody of equivalent wealth, they look at that skin as having value. And unfortunately, their families have put that into a lot of their heads. Okay, not all, but a lot. And we see when they come over here, which is what you're going to further see with some of these TikTok clips. Because, see, her little behind is sitting up there with Zaddy, but see, what happens when Zaddy get tired of playing with you? We've unfortunately seen that, and I don't celebrate that. Whether it was Irene Gakwa, whose death I covered on this channel, and in that broadcast, I implore a lot of you to go back and look at that if you're a continental African, because I broke down the history of white serial killers over here that a lot of people thought was cute, and they was murdering everything moving. Unfortunately, you get with these zaddies, and then when they get tired of you, they off you. That's a real thing. For those of you thinking that when you coming over here, you doing something special by getting you a zaddy over Foundation of Black American Sisters, let me tell you something, particularly you tether wenches, especially the divestment dummies. If our sisters over here wanted white men, they could have them easily for those that want them. They get hit on by them all the time. They just don't prefer white guys like that. They don't. So it's not like you getting them, you've done something they can't do. The sisters over here like, you game goofy white boy, you can't do nothing for me. Well, what you gonna do for me? I don't want you. Take your goofy mayonnaise lice-infested ass back over there. For our own code sisters now. Now, for the game goofy ones that like Zaddy, they run over there and then they get misused and abused. And then the next thing they start doing, we all know it, fellas. Where the black men's at to protect us? Let's make a statement about that protection right now. If you want protection from us, you must respect your protectors. When you step outside the boundaries of where we say you have safety at or where we control the ability to protect you, you on your own, especially when you start calling us bullet bags. Oh, no, ma'am. I'm not going to celebrate anything happen to you, but I'm not going to go out my way to protect you either. You chose to put yourself in dangerous situations. And speaking of dangerous situations, let me show you how sick this next TikTok clip is here. I want y'all to pay attention to this, right? I'm going to let this play. Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. See, they'll sit up here on TikTok with these damn zaddies and play about being in danger and things like that because they think it's a joke. They think it's a joke until they end up on the news. And then the next thing you know, you don't hear nothing from the divestment dummies when they disappear. Everybody's looking to black men to do something about it or say something about it. Nah. See, when you don't look, let me tell y'all something, especially you continental African sisters and you Caribbean sisters. When foundational black American men tell you about these damn zaddies, we know them because we deal with them the most. Whether we on these jobs or just in our day-to-day lives, we know the counterpart of men that we deal with, okay? When we try to tell you something, sometimes instead of trying to blow us off and thinking that you too smart to listen to anybody, you might better consider, is this brother telling me something that could save my life? That could keep me from being one of the countless women that Zaddy go and kill. Because see, let me tell y'all something. This is what a smart sister would think. If Zaddy murder and kill his own women, what make your little black ass think you any different? Huh? Think about it. If Zaddy murder and kill his own women, go and look at that presentation I did on the sister covering the death of Irene Gakwa, the Kenyan sister that was murdered by that killer Zaddy she got with. Go look at the history of all them serial killers that I broke down and see who they mostly killed. White women, because you kill where you live. You better stop and think about what I'm telling you here. When I tell you something over here, I'm trying to educate you and give you information that can protect you, okay? Before you get yourself into a situation, and the coldest thing in the world is to be in a situation where somebody tried to warn your stupid ass, and now you sitting here could be counting the last seconds of your life. Don't be that person. Let's let this further embarrassment continue, though.
I'm addicted, like DJ Love, addicted. I'm addicted, I'm addicted. I'm addicted, I'm addicted, like DJ Love, addicted. I'm addicted.
So we are out in the middle of.
Now, y'all seen that sitting on here just acting a plumb fool, embarrassing herself on that damn TikTok. Oh boy, I mean, it's TikTok is littered with these Sambos on there, man, and Sambes. Just embarrassing that people. See, my question as a foundational black American is, what does your family think about that? Do you not have any type of pride in your family name than to just get up there and embarrass them like that just because you got you a white man? See, I'm going to show you something. White men don't embarrass women that they value like that. See, that's your first clue that he don't see you the same as his women. They don't believe in embarrassing their women like that because your woman is supposed to represent you. That's one thing that's central to all races of men. Our women are supposed to be representatives of us. We don't embarrass what we value. I'm just throwing that out there. So I went and brought this clip back because, see, I've got something in this clip that a lot of you probably didn't see. All of y'all probably saw this clip here, but I'm including this in here for a reason tonight, to show you about this white worship, okay? Because we gonna break all this clip down here. There was another part to it that a lot of people missed, but I got it in here tonight. I'm gonna let this play.
Desert, we're driving along, and I see a car that's broken down, and there's a black man. Now, there is not a whole lot of black people here in Idaho, right?
Not a lot.
So I'm thinking nobody else is probably going to stop to help this man. So I'm just like, you know what? We should stop. We should stop and help this man.
No, we shouldn't.
I'm like, what? And she's like, oh. I was like, no one else is going to stop.
Not my problem.
And I'm like, come on, we got to help this guy out.
No, we don't.
See?
No.
By the way, this heifer is non-FBA. You can tell by that divestment wig on sitting up on top of her head. And see, notice, when they do go and get a white man, they go and get this old cave albino Shrek-looking creature that she's sitting up here with these raggedy-looking super villain teeth. Like you said, First Sergeant, he hurt now. Somebody tore him up with that ugly stick. I mean, look, I'm just saying. But see, this is what you run and go and get, see? And see, look at her little hateful eyes, man. Look at her. See, I'm going to tell you what's dangerous about this for brothers, too. You got brothers over here whose preference are very dark-skinned women just like her, okay? Very dark-skinned sisters. They prefer them over everything else. Can you imagine thinking that something like this little hateful heifer here, is a normal-minded person, and then she mess around and lure you out somewhere, and you got this cave thug sitting up here with a bunch of his other Roscoes and Bubbles looking to do you some harm? See, that's something else a lot of brothers don't think about. I'm just throwing it all out here, but I'm going to let this clip continue.
We do not.
So see, I just got to say, like, right now, like, she said we already had too many black people in the car.
Niggas already in this little vicinity. It's too many.
She said ninjas.
Ninjas.
That was ninjas for anyone that she has a speech impediment. That was
I look.
Now I want y'all to pay attention how a lot of people probably thought that, okay, the white guy, he hideous looking, but he might be cool. Oh no, no he not. And I'm gonna prove that here in a few seconds.
Slow.
Anyway, she wouldn't let me stop. She wouldn't let me help the guy.
No. You know how much hotter it would be in this vehicle if we put that black man in here?
And then, I just know her because I know she's going to be like, well, what do we get robbed?
Mm-hmm. And if we did, I'd blame it all on him because you was the one.
We'd be sitting there and I'd just be looking over like, okay, that was my bad.
Yep, your fault.
I don't know what, I just can't deal with these racists. These racists over here.
Racist people out
Racist.
there. Tell me about it. They just rude. Just disrespectful.
Now, what she doesn't know, we're driving back the same way. If he's still there, I'm stopping.
He can try.
I'm stopping.
I'm going to push the gas pedal.
Video we did.
Now, I want y'all to bear in mind everything that you just heard, because you're probably thinking, okay, yeah, Buddy was probably cool. This is the clip after that a lot of people didn't see. I'm going to let him do his own talking so that you know Zaddy was just as anti-black racist as this little old crunchy, hard wig having divestment heifer right here. I'm going to let this play.
Made a lot of people angry. They said they're going to take away your black card.
Okay.
I checked your credit score. It just went up 100 points.
Shit. Y'all want to take the whole thing away? Take the whole card. Whole damn card. Here you go. I give it to you. You want it? You can have it.
With a little grungy, dusty-looking self, man. I'm just checking your credit score. Your credit score will. Yeah, But see, both of y'all still raggedy and dusty. Credit can't fix that. Credit can't fix dust and bad character. And see, right now, I guarantee you, somebody go and look up how they doing together. Look, I'm not wishing nothing bad on them, but I guarantee you, it ain't funny no more now. Because see, look, this is the thing, man. This is the thing that you divestment dummies don't realize, and you already know the math ain't on your side. Zaddy don't keep you long enough to walk you down the aisle. He don't. You don't really get no tangible resources from him. Okay, he might do a little tricking off on you here and there, but he ain't setting none of y'all up for life. You know how we know that? Because nothing's stopping them from doing it. If you was divesting like you think you are, what's to stop white men from marrying you? They've had access to you all this time in this country. If they really wanted you for anything other than just a little sex toy that they dirty up from time to time to get their fetish off, why we don't see large numbers of them just swooping in to take you off our hands, huh? Yeah. See, math hurts feelings when you start employing math. Brothers, don't get mad with these heifers, these little divestment dummies, as I call them. Don't you dare get mad with them. pull out the almighty ultimate defeating sword of mathematics. Hit their ass with the math. Once you hit them with the math, it shut everything else down. Like, oh, okay. Show me your hands. Why? Where your red ring at, huh? Oh, we ain't married yet. Are you engaged? No. Okay. Yeah. You winning though, huh? I'm just saying. I'm gonna let it continue. Now, that was the end of that. But I want y'all to remember this one right here. We got another one. Remember that Tracy Alma chick right here? Yeah, see, this another one sitting up here with this dusty, raggedy blonde wig on. See, this is another thing, two divestment dummies. I got to go here with it because the sisters that I deal with, okay, if I'm dealing with you, even on a casual level, you represent me, okay? So I have a certain measure of class. My woman has to look a certain way. My woman has to look a certain way to represent me. The least y'all could do is make them buy y'all some decent wigs or get you a decent hairstylist, something. Why they always looking crunchy and dusty every time you see them, man? That don't make no damn sense. That go to show you how invested in you he's not. Think about it. If a man really give a damn about you, he fool with you for real as his woman, he gonna make sure your appearance is on point, okay? He may not know everything that you need, but he gonna say, look, we got to do something about this. We got to make sure that when you step out, at least, you look like you represent me. But see, I'm going to tell you something. That let you know they getting the bottom of the barrel, the bottom shelf brass. Because, see, a man that ain't about shit don't require his woman to look a certain way. Oh, yeah, I said it. I'm going to go there again. A man that ain't about shit don't require his woman to look a certain type of way and be presentable in public. I'm going to let this old school clip here play of this heifer right here because, see, we got to put this demented worshiping of whiteness on display in broadcasts like this and tie it together with history and the things that cause it. So that's why I'm doing this here tonight. I'm going to let this continue here because, see, this right here was really embarrassing for me. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah. I've only had white sticks to me, and that's how, like, they all call me racist. I am not racist just because I say black guys are ugly and ghetto. That doesn't make me racist. It's a personal preference. You know what I mean? I date who I want to date. I hate when black guys try to hit on me. I hate when Mexican guys try to hit on me. No! Hot, sexy white guys only. Right, Patrick?
Yeah, I like that.
Good. Nathan, have you ever hooked up with a black girl?
I have.
Oh, he said he has. Actually,
darker than me, the sweeter the juice.
What? And actually, Patrick, I'm not black. I'm tan. I'm dark tan. Like, I'm dark tan.
Y'all heard that boy talking about the darker the meat, sweeter the juice. He kind of look like Jeffrey Dahmer a little bit. He might be some kin to him. Why he sitting there looking like a little old renegade cyborg donkey with them. You know what? Let me not go there. Let me not get the roasting because y'all know how I am once I get started, boy. But listen, back to a more serious note. In fact, the business, I'm going to take this banner down because I don't want this to be blocked. We have to go back and point out this Mike Oliver guy. Remember him? Mike Oliver slept with over 50 Kenyan women in 3 months and infected over 50 African women with HIV. See, what a lot of them are not told when they go running to get with Zaddy. There's a documentary that I have on my channel, okay, about gift givers and bug chasers. And it's particularly talking about the white LGBTQ community. But see, what you don't realize is Zaddy oftentimes hop back and forth between heterosexual activity and homosexual activity, okay? And a lot of times what Zaddy does is, if they get infected, because you have white supremacists that have done this over here, for the people, the black people that's foolish enough that they can catch with them, that's why I don't deal with them. Okay, I'm not saying other people won't try, but these white supremacists weaponize this particular disease. There is white supremacist manifestos that say if you get anything like HIV, if you contract it, okay, the C word, the virus, try to give it to a black person. They look at that as like, okay, if you're going, you may as well take as many of them niggers with you as you can. And see, if you bring your ass over here as a continental African or Caribbean and you don't understand racism and white supremacy, just like the Grandmaster teacher, Neely Fuller Jr. says, if you don't understand racism and white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. And then you end up in a situation with your life on the line here because you ran into Mike. Yeah, see? You better understand something. I'm pointing out to you continental African brothers and you Caribbean brothers too, especially down on the beaches in Jamaica. When the big old fat arrested white women come running down there, tricking off on you, giving you a few dollars so you can lay up with them, you better think, do she have anything? Get your coins however you can get them, but you better say, look, we got to go get tested. I need to make sure. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell you, that's a horrible thing to be hit with that death sentence. It's a horrible thing. You better stop thinking that that's some type of lottery because you get to lay up with these damn people. It's not, in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And see, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I don't care if they get mad or not. They have some of the filthiest habits in their community, particularly when it comes to intimacy. They really do. They really do. You better understand. Look, let's go here with it. In case anybody, you tripped and said that. Do you really trust a MF that'll kiss a dog in the mouth? Little dog just kissed him in the mouth like it's normal. We've seen them sit up there and let their dog sit up there at restaurant tables and then get mad at people that say something about it. Really now, you better think about, look, when I call them Neanderthals, you better understand they still have their ancestors in them. That's why their behavior is like that. Let's go real further with it. Let's go real further with it about the hygiene. You remember when I went in on B. Simone on the broadcast a few weeks back? Well, she's trying to be like the people in the dominant society because we've heard many of the celebrities just come on out like, I don't take baths. You don't? So you don't wash your alabaster pale ass. Just talking about if you're not dirty, you don't need to take a bath. And then when you do, you don't use a washcloth. You just rub the soap over you. Oh, yeah. Someone tell me if I've been in a swimming pool, I don't need to take a bath. Okay. And you wonder why they was hit so hard during the pandemic. Cleanliness really is next to godliness, but see, I digress. They so smart, we don't know nothing. I'm pointing this out for a reason. You better be careful out there in that divestment dummy community, because see, you mess around and you run into your version of Mike Oliver out there, and then you be looking crazy. I'm going to let us continue because we got some more things to get to. We're going to do a thorough lesson on this subject here tonight. Now, take a look at this, right? Pull this picture up. For all of you divestment dummies, this is your dream right here, to get you a whole bunch of zaddies sitting up here, these bottom shelf brands sitting there, so you be cheesing the picture. And I'm going to say it again, just like I made it plain earlier. A man that values his woman cares about her appearance. Why do they let y'all run around in them cheap-ass wigs, man? That shit don't look good at all, man. It really don't. But see, the point that I'm making here is they think they've made it now. Chances are, Zaddy ain't gonna marry none of them. And see, here's the real deal breaker right here, the real heartbreaker for them. After they start to get bored with you, they run back to what they're familiar with. They cheat on you with Becky. That's the truth. You ain't got to like it. That's what they do. How many times have they come out and been mad because they found Zaddy cheating with Becky? That's what he familiar with. Because see, this is the real reason why they're not gonna marry y'all. You can't give Zaddy little Connor and little Tiffany. You can't. He can only get white children from the womb of a white woman. The closest thing, he can kind of go over there to the Asian women, depending on how fair they are, and you might get a Keanu Reeves, but that's a gamble, okay? That's a gamble. Even if you try to go to the lighter shades of the Arab community, like Steve Jobs, he was Arabic, part Arabic anyway. There's no guarantee that you're going to get that genetic mix. So that's why when it comes time to having babies, Zaddy just get rid of you when he get ready to go get his kids and marry something. So I'm putting this portion of dementia and sickness in here about the white worship. All of you probably remember this clip right here with this idiotic heifer with this railroad spiked chin and this bad divestment wig that she got on, was mad that this white guy wanted to date women from his own community. Let's stroll down memory lane, shall we?
This guy has made a show of going on a date with a woman from every state. And let me just show you why he's getting a lot of hate. I think it's fair to say that my guy has a type, but here's what really makes me mad. This is the girl he went on a date with from Hawaii. Like, sir.
Boy, I tell you, boy, little railroad spike chin heifer right here. Yeah, he got a type. His own women. What's wrong with that? Most men prefer their own type of women. See, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people miss why she came out and did this. I'm going to tell you why, with her little funny face looking ass. she really do think that if she imitate white women long enough, that she is just like them. That's what she think. Look, you got to be a fool to really think that in a room full of white women, Zaddy gonna skip over all of them and come running over there to your little spike chin ass. What you think? See, you know what? Let me be realistic about this. What I believe this heifer thought was, she was like, listen, Zaddy, none of these alabastresses have a long chin like me. I have an industrial use chin. You can pin stuff to the wall with my chin. You can use it as a lawn dart. I mean, hey, she got a little ballistic missile chin. So, I mean, maybe Zaddy, she probably figured, hey, I've got this industrial use chin. Swiss Army knife chin looking man, look, let me let this play, man. It's ridiculous, man.
What you not finna do? You not finna play us, sir. You not finna play us, sir. Then this is the girl he went on a date with from New Mexico, who is actually, if you look on her Instagram, from Long Island. So, sir, if you have a type, you didn't even have to go across 50 states for that. Like, you really just dated the same girl in every single state. Like,
man, let me tell y'all something, man. I better be careful that I don't run into this heifer, boy, because if you don't have a bulletproof vest on and she tilt her head back and run full speed at you, she will impale your ass to a wall. I'm saying, I have never seen a chin like this. Can you imagine her and Jay Leno in a chin fight, boy? That would be a hell of a duel, boy. I'm just saying.
Where is the seasoning? Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, because I'm feeling like this was unnecessary.
White wife. Yeah, that's right. I know I'm petty as hell, but listen, man, if I'm gonna bring these subjects to y'all, I'm gonna try my best to throw some humor in here. But I got to get back on a serious note. I want to point out to you how far gone the mentality is of some of these people. Okay? Now, this next clip we're gonna analyze. You see this heifer here, and no, she's not foundational Black American, sitting up here with this bottom shelf Brad riding her. Now, see, this is the dangerous thing for you tether winches. You better start to study the debilitating mental illnesses that these white people have over here. See, the Ku Klux Klan started as a joke. They hide some of their most atrocious things behind humor and jokes, okay? So while you think it's a joke and Zaddy playing, you really have been fantasizing about doing these things to your ass. I'm gonna let this clip play. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about.
Life good. Wife fight back. Kill wife. Wife gone. Think about wife.
Yeah, see, they be thinking Zaddy be playing. See, I'm gonna give it to you straight. Let me go ahead and tell y'all what Zaddy be doing. And let me shout out some other people that I see coming in here. I see you, Brian Simpson. Salute to you, brother. Nightfall Drop. Alicia Davis. I see Grim Noah in here. My brother CRU. I see you, family. Welcome everybody. If you hadn't already, please do your brother a favor and hit that like button. We're finna get back to cooking with fish grease over here. So, what the statement I was making. The psychology of these white men, when they start to get tired of you, they start fantasizing about harming you. Then that N-B word come out and call you a nigga bitch. They call you one of them, that word come out your mouth. You better get yourself out of that situation. Because they're not playing with you, okay? They're not, especially if they people start ridiculing them for being with you. Or you in danger then. But see, you be thinking that you've gotten some prize and you've outdone foundational Black American women. No, you put yourself in danger. Our sisters are smarter than you think over here. Because even this, look, let me go ahead and really stick this knife in here with this. A lot of sisters don't really get caked up with Zaddy like that because they got golden mouthpieces. They can break these white boys' pockets. You better go and look at who foundational Black American women are. As for that talk game, I'm going to throw a legendary name out here. Look up Sister Mary Ellen Pleasant and see what she was doing to them white men. They was trying to put her on trial. Her talk game was so awesome, man. She was getting big cake out of them and getting them to fork over property and every damn thing, okay? In fact, if you don't know the history, okay, she was the foundational Black American sister that helped fund the revolution of John Brown, okay? Or his attempted revolution anyway. She was bankrolling him, okay? So our sisters got that talk game. They ain't got to really give up nothing to Zaddy like that, man. They can lead them on to believe something, but man, they be done clean them out. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But we got to examine another disturbing trend in this worship of whiteness here on this TikTok. Because, see, I put all this in here so we can see just how bad it is. Sometimes when you see bits and pieces of something, it doesn't really register with you until somebody comprehensively puts it in a format where you can see back to back how fucked up it is. Look at this trend that they had going on. They probably still got it going on. I want y'all to check this out.
Massa. Bitch, my Massa. Bitch, my Massa.
Speaking on the behalf.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you're a African over here, continental African, or a Caribbean person, and your children are doing this on TikTok, you failed. You really failed. You failed that child. You failed your lineage. You failed your ancestors. You failed. If they're doing this, because see, think about it. For them to even be able to put themselves in that position, particularly when it's girls too, man, that means they don't have no type of self-worth or value around these people, man. Boy, if I was a father and I saw that, man, first of all, it wouldn't get to that point. Because, see, that means the reason why they okay with doing that, what were you teaching them at home? What were you teaching them at home, huh? For them to think that that's okay and get on social media and embarrass the whole family like that, that must mean y'all was telling them how great white people was. But see, again, we got one of these yo white boys here. He actually talking like he got some sense. And notice how he got the little hoodie on. And I want y'all to listen to the black scent because, like I said earlier in this broadcast, they imitate us as the source of true masculinity. I'm going to let you hear what he had to say about that little challenge y'all just saw.
Half of all white dudes that date black girls.
Can y'all stop fucking calling us massa?
Like, what the fuck do I... You know what you're doing. You know, like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? And y'all be thinking it's funny as shit. You be laughing your ass off, having the time of your life. Girl, fuck you.
Wondering.
So now y'all heard little baby John Cena there, right? Yeah. See, some of them got sense enough to know, hey man, that ain't cool. Now, hey, he might be an okay white boy. He probably know all the lines to every Friday movie. Probably listen to hip hop on a regular basis. That don't really mean nothing. But I'm just saying, he know how that makes him look. Okay. So a lot of times Zaddy called him out about that. And see, I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all think this bad here tonight, I got a broadcast coming up where I'm going to really break down that tilt to win psychology. Y'all not even going to believe that's possible, man. I mean, you look, the presentation I got coming up here, man, boy. And I mean, look, I'm going to try to drop that sometime this week. But when I do, it's going to give you a whole nother perspective into why you seen that lady crawling around on her knees for King Charles like that. But I want to examine this clip here. I want to bring this back. A lot of you might have heard this. And I'm applying this to these divestment dummies over here for the few that are in our lineage that happen to click up with them. If you talk like this about foundational black American men or any black men, you on your own. Don't look to me to protect you. I want y'all to examine this and see how psychotic and sick these heifers sound. Because, see, I really hope none of them have black sons.
Why no one thought to say and voice their opinion that when I look at these white men, they are the epitome of masculine, and watching some of these police officers manhandle these black men in the street is very attractive and it's a turn on, you know? And I'm wondering, does anybody else feel like that?
Hold on.
Yes, Lord.
Y'all off the chain, okay? Y'all are off the proverbial chain.
That's Discord talk.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Discord.
A little background.
Yeah, you heard it. That's right, you heard it. Oh, the Kiki and the Kaka about white race soldiers manhandling black men. So, Heifer, this is my question to all them cackling hags up there. What if they start manhandling your father, your son, your uncle, brothers? Which they probably don't care nothing about them neither. I mean, but I'm just saying, it's funny until it hit home. Funny till it hit home. See, the reason why I call them divestment dummies, you have to be twice the fool it take to be one to think that you are exempt from the same issues and problems of your people. They keep thinking that because you go and let Zaddy roll around with you and you slop on his knob a couple of times, or whatever the case Zaddy have you doing, because you know in all kind of weirdo shit that's not normal. You be thinking that make you exempt from dealing with the issues and problems of black society. But see, think about it. This is where that makes you foolish. Just because you don't study history divestment dummies, if sexual intercourse was some type of protection that you could get and Zaddy would leave you alone, hey, you wouldn't hear me saying nothing. Historically, that has not protected you. They had sexual access to black men and black women on the plantations. That didn't protect none of us. If that was the case, you would think with the interracial relationships that we see today, that would be having an effect on the racism and white supremacy. It has not. It has not. I'm going to let this sister here talk because, see, she's going to say something, and this is why I double down on the importance of black fathers being in your children's lives, man. Do what you have to do to be under the same roof and raise your children, especially your daughters, because when they start dating, you don't want them to be in a situation like this. I'm going to let this play.
Known for 5 years. I've been out in California for the past 4 years, going to college, getting my degree. I recently moved back and I reconnected with him, and we started hanging out a lot. I would just go over his house. We would chill, watch movies, drink, just hang out. Everybody's saying there must have been signs or she had to know he was racist. No, there weren't, and no, I didn't.
Stop right there. Bullshit. Yes, there were. Yes, you did. First thing first, let me give younger sisters some advice over here for those of you that find this and have some sense. You better stop overlooking bad qualities in any man, but especially Zaddy, just because you think he cute, because she's a lie. And I'm going to tell you how I know he's a lie. When a woman is into you, she try to find out everything she can about you. What it was, you saw what you had going on and you ignored it. And another thing I'm going to give you some advice on, young sisters, especially those you in these interracial relationships, you better be careful about getting drunk around these damn zaddies. And hopefully you're not doing drugs with them, because we saw what happened to Lauren Smith Fields, and you see her killer is free right now. He murdered that sister with fentanyl, okay? You better think twice about what you're dealing with out here. I'm going to let her continue, though.
I knew he was racist. I would not be talking to him or hanging out with him.
Honestly, if it weren't for those texts, I would have never known he was racist, just because he hid it so well.
No, you would have known, because see, what you were doing was he would probably sit there making jokes about other black people, and you would sit there thinking, oh, he talking about them, not me. No, dumbass. Listen very carefully. For any of you divestment dummies that happen to find this, he's talking about you too. He's talking about you too. You ain't special. You not. Let's let her continue.
So the night I found out he was racist was the day after Memorial Day. It was the day George Floyd's murder was broadcast all over social media.
Now pay close attention to what she just said, because see, I'm gonna tell you something. The acid test to find out if you're dealing with an anti-black racist or somebody that practices white supremacy, that issue right there, I'll never forget where I was when I saw that murder of our brother George Floyd. When you start bringing up anything like that, or about reparations, or whether they think Kyle Rittenhouse should have gotten off or not, now you finna figure out what you're really dealing with. Let's let her continue.
I was really upset about it, and when I went over to his house that night, I was venting about it. That led us to get into a debate about All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. It's the debate he was referring to in the text messages that I posted. So during this debate, I was just explaining to him that Black Lives Matter too. Black lives are the ones being oppressed. We acknowledge that all lives matter, but we're just trying to get everybody to realize that Black lives matter as well as everybody else's lives.
And see, I'm gonna tell you something what's wrong with what she just said right there. If her father was in her life, she would know that the minute that you feel like you got to explain that to this white boy, you need to be out. That should have been your first clue right there. See, this is why that debunks. Well, I didn't know he was racist. No. You did, but see, you didn't have no father to game your little ignorant ass up and say, hey, listen, you gonna deal with one of them? I prefer you not. But if they start talking like this, you need to be out. So yeah, you did know. You just ignored that shit. See, ladies, I'm gonna tell you something. I've said this many a time. Lying is not power, okay? Ignoring things, changing the name of stuff, trying to pretend something not as serious as it is. No, that places anybody in danger, especially you. Your power and your safety relies in dealing with the world as it is, which is exactly why I went in the way I did on that broadcast where I was explaining the difference between fat and thick, okay? Lying does not help you about no situation, especially something dealing with these damn zaddies, all right? I'm gonna let her continue here, cause see, we gotta break this down the right way.
I got really frustrated with him, and I basically told him to leave me alone. And he tried to pick it up for me. He poured me to drink, and we continued with our night.
Y'all hear how silly she sound? Okay, now you suspect him of being racist, and he said what he said about George Floyd and all of that, and you still gonna drink with him? You see how silly this is? This is a girl that has not been gained up by a father at all. Let's let her continue talking.
As we continued that night, we were drinking, listening to music on Spotify. He had given me his password because I was on the aux on his phone. So I did the thing where you like double tap a person's phone to get all their apps up, and I saw the messages on his Twitter. So in my head, I'm just like, noted, I'm gonna go back to that later. So as the night progressed, we were drinking more and more. He was getting more and more drunk, and the more drunk he gets, the more like angry he gets. And me and him got in an argument. Couldn't tell you what it was about, because we were just...
Stop right there. Ladies, listen to me very carefully. You don't have no power in a situation with no man when they're angry and drunk, especially a damn racist. Her little ignorant ass should have gotten up and left. You shouldn't have got drunk with him in the first damn place. And all this talking about she going through the phone and all this, I want y'all to hear the level of denial and delusion that these women, young women like her have if they don't have family members, especially fathers, to gang them up. This could have went real bad, real fast. See, you got to really instruct your daughters on who they dealing with out here, man. I want y'all to listen to the rest of this, what she about to say.
Just both drunk, but I know he was being extremely rageful, and he was throwing shit around the apartment, cussing, screaming my name. And then I went inside and I hid inside of his bathroom from him. He was yelling my name to come out, but he was like really drunk and like stumbling around. And I just hid in there for about 15 minutes, and eventually he passed out. So when he passed out, I got out of the bathroom and I grabbed his phone and I went to the messages. So obviously I saw the first message from that night, and then I saw the messages from previous nights where he stated that he wanted to call me the N-word, his grandfather would have owned me and whipped me, and that he...
Did y'all hear that? She found the message where Zaddy was talking about his grandfather would have owned her and whipped her and all of this. So at this point, what you still dealing with this man for? You see what I'm saying? See? Your boy, it get worse. Y'all just wait.
Wanted to abuse me and make me another statistic. And it was just like really hurtful because he was somebody that I genuinely cared for. I eventually left his apartment because I didn't feel safe anymore after seeing those messages. But I took his phone with me because I was still going through it. I just didn't want him to wake up and like me still be there because I was actually genuinely afraid. So I went outside the apartment in my car and I just started going through his phone more just to see like if there was more stuff he was saying about me, or if there was just like more stuff I could find, because I knew like this was the last time I was going to talk to him, so I just wanted to see like what I could find just to give myself some closure. So I didn't sleep that night at all. Like I had his phone from like 2 to 5 a.m. maybe, and that's when I posted the tweet. It was around 5 a.m. He reached out to me around 8 a.m. saying he needed his phone and he could explain the whole conversation. I didn't think he was going to be up already, and I still had his phone. So at this point I was trying to figure out how I would return his phone to him without seeing him. So I ended up just going back to his apartment and leaving his phone and the spare key he gave me in his parking spot. Alright, so just a few updates from after everything happened. He had reached out to me like as soon as I left his house, you know, blowing up my phone, just telling me like, you know, this is serious, Tatum, I need you to call me. My family's in danger, people are threatening me, people are banging on my door, like, and I'm just like, I know it's serious. The words that you spoke about me are serious. Anyway, since then, he's given me like this BS apology. Didn't believe anything he said because I'm pretty sure he's a sociopath and a narcissist. Not exaggerating. I'm pretty sure I've seen him outside.
Now, y'all hear everything she's saying, right? She calling him a sociopath and a narcissist. She calling him everything except for what the motherfucker is, a white supremacist, an anti-black racist. And see, let me go ahead and state this right now. All that stuff she was talking about, looking through his phone and I wanted closure and all of this. Nah, see, Lily Fuller Jr. said it correctly. When black people get out of bed with white folks, we don't want to end up confused, not them. Especially one that hasn't been trained by her father to know that you should have been out of this situation. Because see, fellas, everybody here in this chat, tell me right now, if a woman is really sick of you like that, She gonna cut off all communication with you. You should have deleted his number, blocked him on everything, and been through dealing with him. But see, you know why she didn't do that shit? Because she's still sitting over there hoping, well, maybe he didn't mean it and all that, all this bullshit she talking about. Nah, if you see that you in danger, as a father, you supposed to train your daughter. Listen, the first time that you are in danger with somebody like that, especially a damn racist, you cut that off altogether. I feel bad for it, man, because like I said, you can tell the ones that don't have their fathers in their life. And see, this is why it's so important for us to fight to be there. Because see, a lot of women don't understand, especially older men. We can tell if you ain't had your dad in your life. We can tell by the way you carry yourself. It's very obvious. And in many situations, there's certain things you're going to do and say and act like, and we're like, oh, yeah, your dad wasn't there. And see, you think about a white supremacist predator like what she was dealing with. I'm going to let her continue here because, see, this is sad, man. This is sad.
At my house. He knows where I live now, and I never told him where I live. So that has had me scared for the past few weeks. I got a protective order against him that explains literally everything. The judge granted it, but then he contested it. So now we have to go to court.
So now y'all heard that, right? Fathers, make sure you game your daughters up out here. And I'm talking particularly to you continental African and Caribbean fathers. You better make sure that your daughters understand what they're dealing with. And you better start learning from us. And see, I'm putting this on the screen up here. Okay. Now, this is an African brother. He's Ghanaian. That is Ghanaian garb he has on. You see, they be saying, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them say that they can't marry outside their tribe and them, but then you go and get this big old buffet master alabasters up here and everything's all good then. Because, see, your family done told you that's a come up. See, this is where that worship of whiteness come from. We got to talk about it. We're going to look at several things across the board here tonight on this. Oh, big old bed bug Shannon Sharp. We already know he like to chase the Bakers, and we see that's why he was sitting there in that situation with Skip Bayless being disrespected. Okay, so I'm going to pause on this one right here. Further going into detail about why it's so dangerous for you to be in these situations, let's look at Vice President Kamala Harris, all right? Mother's Indian, father's Jamaican, a motherless Caucasian on her birth certificate. We've all seen that. She married this white man after flopping around, out in California, locking up people's kids, anti-black racist hell for you, okay? Not prosecuting people that shoot black folks in the back. I could go on and on about her horrible political record. But we're going to get in your personal life tonight. A lot of people try to tap dance around that. Fuck that. We going here tonight. This is an example of a powerful person, a person in a powerful position. But she's not really a powerful person. A lot of y'all probably like, what you mean by that? She's the vice president of the United States. She's in a powerful position, but she's not a powerful person because, see, that white man that she tied to next to her, right now, even though that she's the vice president, if she do something and it's something go down between them or whatever, they're going to suspect her of being the one involved in foul play versus him. Okay, if she get too far out of line, even with the position that she has as vice president now, they'll all turn on her. You think I'm lying? Look at how Nancy Pelosi treat her. Remember how she was whining and crying, talking about how she don't feel included in meetings? Jim Crow Joe say, look, bitch, I got you up here to just sit here and look pretty. That's what you do, okay? That's what you do. You toe the line for Big White Daddy over here. See, they fool themselves. A lot of you tellers, when you get up here in office with these people, and you be thinking now that you so much better than everybody else, they remind you of your place. They use you as mascots, okay? So see, I want y'all to keep that in mind as we further look at some of these examples here tonight, because see, I'm going to make a very important point. Let's look at Ketanji Brown Jackson sitting up here with her zaddy, okay? Another example of a person in a powerful position, but she's not a powerful person when it comes to dealing with zaddy, because see, that white man is going to always be the dominant one in that relationship. And you just a little niggerish. You got a title, but that don't mean nothing in a system of white supremacy. It don't matter how much money you got in a system of white supremacy. They've shown us that many times. Look what they did to Bill Cosby. Several others that have wealth, and then they drum up some charges, and bam, now it's your word versus theirs. And that white word counts a lot further than your word, even if you got a title behind your name, right? See, we got to point these things out and make it clear to people when they find this broadcast. So now, I just showed you some examples of people in powerful positions. blackish women, one black and one blackish. Now, when you divestment them, it's going to get with the average zaddy, and you don't have no title or position like a judge or vice president. How much less power do you think you have dealing with zaddy in that situation? Think about it now. See, we got to put things in the proper context when we talking about this stuff over here, man. You have to make people think about the situation they be in. And look at this boy. Where do they find them from? Look at this little old cross-eyed boy. You already know something ain't right with that boy. She's sitting over there just a cheesing and grinning. I'm telling you, man, non-FBA, by the way. Boy, they just going to get the bottom of the bottom shelf bread barrel, boy. Where's this barrel they be pulling them from? But anyway, I want to bring this point up right here. We all remember the White Lives Matter fiasco there, Kanye, one of ours, unfortunately, and Kundis the Coonstress, as my brother Torian Rain calls her. We remember this right here. This is the closest you're going to get to seeing one of us on their knees. Now, Kanye, he's mentally ill. They exploit him. He out his mind. Still no excuse for his buck dancing and cooning, though, okay? He got no sense to know what he shouldn't be doing towards our people. He's done it too many times. So I don't just give him a complete pass with the mental illness card. But see, Candace Owens, think about it now. She's standing there with this White Lives Matter shirt on. Hey, Kanye right next to her. That's as far as they probably would really go with before as getting on their knees. Now, I ain't going to put it past Candace. She probably will get on her knees for the right situation, but I ain't never seen Kanye do it yet, okay? I mean, because this is the thing I will give Kanye. He's defiant and stubborn, so I could never see him or any one of our foundational Black American coons getting on their knees like that. But I put this in here for a reason. Because, see, a lot of them start trying to point out examples when you talk about that woman crawling on the knees to King Charles. What about this person? What about that person? I'm like, nah, we ain't got nothing close to that. So I want to examine this coming up here, too. This is another one of our coons, right? Y'all probably saw this clip. He going to be speaking on, like, the California reparations out there. And we all know that they're starting off, the number they're tossing out here to start is $223,000 per person. Now, you don't have, again, I must reiterate, you don't have the equivalent of a Thomas Sowell in the Asian community, Hispanic community, Arab community, East Indian community. You damn sure don't see them in the white community. When something is for their people, they be talking against it. I want you to listen to this sample, right? Because, see, this all ties into this worship of whiteness because, see, he's doing it for butter biscuits, but I doubt even he would get on his hands and knees and crawl. Let's let him continue.
So the new California reparations proposal could mean $223,000 per person in payments for Black residents. Guys, when I saw this story, I had to sound off and make one thing crystal clear. I don't want it, and no Black American in California should want it, and no Black American.
No problem, boy. Sign yours over to the rest of us.
American across the country, because they're trying to make this national, should want it either. Why? Number one, because no one alive today was a slave and no one alive today was a slave owner. Let's do.
They're still living out the sacrifices of our ancestors, and all the wealth in this country was built on the backs of our slaves. Every country that's going over 100 years old, we all do that money, so don't try that one.
Deal with that first. But also, too, because the left does this all the time. They dangle a carrot in front of Black Americans' faces, and they say, we'll toss you a few dollars, we'll toss you some money.
It's just like the Republicans did to get you to come out there and book dance and be a Sambo. See, they always try to divide this thing up between the left and the right. You're a Black person that's running over here talking about left and right, which is what a lot of continental Africans and Caribbeans do. Not understanding the history of this country, it's not about left and right in politics. They take them political titles off like jackets and socks, man. It's about white supremacy. That's what it's about, okay? So you already lost if you over here talking about left and right, doing this or that. They got different ideologies about how to practice white supremacy, but they all on the same white supremacist code. Let's let this sambo continue.
As long as you behave. They're not doing this out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it in the interest of control. If you actually want to help Black people, how about you help keep their community safe? When was the last time they've ever tried to do that? Because I can't remember. Reparations isn't going to stop young Black children from getting shot in the south side of Chicago due to...
There he is with the Chicago. They always talking about Chicago like it's the most violent city in America, and it's not actually. It really isn't. Oh boy, look at the numbers on the murder rate in Philadelphia. See, but Chicago is code for Black folks, for niggers. And see, he talking about safety. One of the things that you can do to drop the crime anyway, and first of all, the crime is down across the country. If you look at statistics, crime is not being committed at the rates they're saying. If you actually pay attention to actual numbers, but I digress. One of the ways to stop crime during community is to increase the economic opportunities. A lot of the crime is committed behind economics or black people having to defend themselves from people that are trying to take what they have. But see, an idiot like this, a buck dancing Sambozo, he ain't gonna be able to talk intelligent like that and look at the facts for what they are. He just repeats parroted talking points from his white supremacist handlers. Let him finish up here.
Decades of incompetent radical leftist leadership. Reparations won't do a single thing to solve that. Help black people create businesses and wealth, not dependency.
And I let that Sambozo continue for a reason because, see, I'm going to show you how you get that mindset. This is Madonna with her wrinkled up, haggard old ass. And these are her little old adopted children. Now, why am I showing you this picture? Well, the Sambozo that you heard before me, think about it. If these white folks go and adopt these black children like this and get them, you never see a couple of things. They never come out heterosexual or straight. They never come out on code. They usually be coons. There's very few instances where they come out on code because just think about the way they're raised in the household. See, I guarantee you all these black children that Madonna adopted, they probably got stories of if she got mad at them about something, she would starve them or whatever. It's all the same. Once you study the history of what these people do, and see, this is why I applaud African countries like Ethiopia that banned them white supremacists from coming over there adopting their children because it got so bad with the child abuse and sexual molestation at one point that they was like, okay, look, this ain't cool. You got some of you over there, and I got to call it what it is. You think that giving your children to white people to let them come to the UK or America, that's going to give them a better life. Let me tell you something. Everything that you bring into the world as far as your seed, it's up to you to give them a better life, not nobody else. And as a man, if you go along with anything like that, you ain't worth a damn. You ain't worth a damn at all if you're going along with something like that. As a man, it's your job to give your children a better life. See, that's the difference between us and the women. The women get tired. They give up. They get weak. We're supposed to take our station and make things better, okay? You don't give up your children to nobody, man. You get out there and do what you need to do to make things where you can give your children a better life. And this is why you need to have your shit together before you start having kids. Because, see, that's how you get these brainwashed Sambozos that's so far gone, man. It ain't really nothing you can do to turn that kind of brainwashing around when they've gone through all the horrific experiences that they went through under these damn adopted situations that they be in, okay? So I just want to break down how you get that mindset. I got some other things in here I got to show you too. Because see, we got to really make this point stick over here, man. A lot of them really don't understand it. I'm getting on Foundation of Black American Coons and Tether Coons. Yes, I'm calling Jay-Z and LeBron James a coon because we see who they're standing with right there in the middle, Jerry Jones. Now, before that photo surfaced, that wasn't the first time he was accused of racist activity. But see, you always got some Negroes that's done got a little money in their pocket that think they're above the rest of us that are going to stand with motherfuckers like this. Remember that chess move Jay-Z was supposed to be making with the NFL? How that work out for Black society? How did that benefit us? Okay? Now, Ice Cube, that's who I salute. What he did, he actually went and got some tangibles for black businesses and everything, okay? Now, that brother, I would respect him, man, because, see, not only that, he got with our elders like Dr. Clark Anderson to try to come up with the contract for Black America and try to present it to both political parties. Is what you do when you do business. You present your idea to both sides and then go with the one that offers you the best deal, okay? They never got back with that brother Ice Cube as far as Joe Biden and the Democrats. Never got back to him, okay? So, see, when you see these Sambos like this is the point I want to make to our people. Just because a sellout or a traitor to our people have money, that don't mean we cut them a pass. We light their ass up just the same. Because, see, they only thinking about themselves. And, see, look at these Sambozos right here. All up here in Donald Trump office. These are some of these presidents of those HBCUs. I know y'all probably remember these photos, right? Okay. I'm going to tell you the problem that I have with it. I don't have an issue with them going to get money for the HBCUs. By the way, we really don't have HBCUs. Anything that's white money funded and controlled is not ours. It's just HBCU in name only. And if you look at the students that's attending now, you can't really say it's mostly black folks no more. Okay? See, our wealthiest should have been building for the last 30, 40 years. All this money they got across these different entertainers, athletes, people that, Oprahs and all that. Why you won't build from the ground up actual black-owned HBCUs? before you start coming at Deion Sanders. And see, I got to get on Umar too, because see, he posted some shit I got to light his ass up about. See, before I further go into detail about that, let's talk about our brother Deion, because I haven't spoken about it on this channel, but I will. I will say this for right now. If you want black people to be loyal to you, you got to treat them right, okay? You don't get mad at somebody after you mistreat them when they decide to take their talents and their expertise elsewhere, especially after they've given so much. You can't talk shit about a person after they've given you all they can, and then you gonna shit on me when I'm still giving you stuff? My hard-earned expertise and my money and my children are there helping to make your reputation what it is? No, how dare you criticize Deion Umar? No, I got something for that, though. But see, my issue with these Sambo presidents up here, I don't have an issue that they were there trying to get money. The issue that I have is when they do get funds allocated to them, the reason why Jackson State is in the trouble it is now, they steal the damn money. One thing I want to see with these Sambozos is an audit. And there's another picture of them standing up here. I want to see an audit in every HBCU, all them heads, and let's find out where this money going. See, why couldn't the kids don't have the facilities they need when you getting all this funding year after year? And see, Jim Crow Joe just cut it. Under Trump, he actually increased it. Jim Crow Joe cut it back because he was just like, okay, yeah, we don't really need you Negroes no more. We can use this money for something else. We tired of funding you, the fit your little mistresses and taking little vacations and buy your little designer clothes and all that. Man, see, that's the problem that I have with them. You sit here, you steal the money, and you don't do what you're supposed to do with it, which further declines confidence in our people to even deal with you in the first place. See, when you get traitors to your nation and your people in certain positions, you don't look the other way like a lot of these continental African and Caribbean folks do. You call them out and you hold their feet to the fire. That's what you do. You don't just look the other way like, well, that's just what they do. No, they're affecting your community. You light their ass up for that shit. So I included those photos in there for a reason, man, because, see, you can't let them get away with this kind of stuff. And, see, here's something else I want to bring up. Y'all probably remember this Nigerian chick, right? Okay, so now she got mad at Brother Tariq. You already know he gave her the business. But I got some clips in here where a lot of y'all probably hadn't seen. With that being said, I'm going to let this high yellow sell out here for finish talking here.
In reference to my video where I said that white people are not inherently racist, Tariq here says you are a Nigerian, so you are not a foundational black American, nor are you qualified to represent foundational black American issues. Now,
and you aren't, and you won't be representing our issues.
for those of you who aren't well versed in woke terminology, a foundational black American is a black American who is descendant of slaves. Tariq here coined the term foundational black American, and just to keep you all in the loop, it used to be you can't talk about black issues unless you're a person of color. Then it was you can't talk about black issues unless you're a black person of color. Now you can't talk about black issues unless you're a black person who is descendant of slaves. So Tariq and I corresponded back and forth on Twitter. You're welcome to check that out if you would like, but let me go ahead and summarize my point of view. I am an American. I speak on American issues. I will continue to speak on American issues in the
No, you're a tether. That's what you are.
wake of you trying to invalidate my opinion based on my ethnicity. And I would love to say that it is baffling to me that you have any sort of support for your opinions, but this is the new America that we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. So here's an interesting response I got in reference to... So I have a joke.
Now, y'all heard this heifer, right? See, I don't care what you say until you start trying to undermine us and get in our business. You can say whatever you want. When you start interfering in our business like our reparations claim or anything as far as producing justice in our community and protecting us against these race soldiers, that's when I have a problem with you and most other on-code foundational black Americans. So this next clip coming up here, I want y'all to hear what this heifer says. Now, she thought this was cute. And see, mind you, this heifer here is Zaddy crazy also. See, they love talking about other black people sitting up around Zaddy. That's where they get most of this stuff from. And see, you can see this trend also on Twitter if you're over there. Next time you in a lot of their spaces, a lot of these tethers, you'll notice, I caught on to this, right? You'll notice that a lot of them use that Pepe the Frog meme, and they don't even know what the hell that means. They just latch on to anything they see white people using. A lot of them don't even know that that's a white supremacist symbol, man. And see, they latch on to anything without understanding it. I keep telling continental African brothers and sisters, Caribbean brothers and sisters, you better start understanding what certain things are before you latch on to them. But now, I want y'all to pay attention to this joke she's about to tell, or what she thinks is a joke. Now, before she does that, remember the tattoo you just saw she had on her arm, right? I'm gonna let her continue before I make my commentary on it.
Why should you date a black girl? Because there's a 75% chance you're never gonna have to meet her father. I'm so sorry.
Little old gay goofy ass. Click, 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 click. I'm so sorry. Click, 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 click. I'm 75% chance you're not gonna meet her father. Click, 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 click. Little old ugly boy. Now, first of all, Heifer, I got to get you. Cause you sitting up here all tatted up and hood ratted up. Ain't nobody of any value checking for that. Little old peanut head looking heifer, man, with a little grungy looking teeth. Yo, they're talking about, see, let's talk about fatherhood. Let's talk about that, right? Where you from in Nigeria, and I'm sorry, some of my Nigerian brothers and sisters, I love you, those of you that are on code, but y'all gonna have to catch some strays. Go look at what the single motherhood and paternity fraud rate is over there. How you gonna come over here and talk about who don't know their father? Really? See, let me tell y'all something, especially the sisters, because a lot of sisters get upset when they see that kind of stuff. Don't get upset. Let me tell you what you do. This is why I've dedicated my channel to putting this type of information out. Don't get upset. I'm going to tell you like the great Dr. John Henry Clark did. When you got your research game on point, you can tell them, don't get mad. Get smart. Prove me wrong. Go look up the information on where they're from. Go look up the slums of Makoko over there and several others. See, if I really want to hurt some feelings when them tethers get to talking, I'll be like, hey, look, I done been to some of your homelands. I know exactly what's over there. If I really was just a vicious, cold-hearted motherfucker, but see, a lot of times, you know, we try to hold back. They be thinking that none of us had never been where they from or don't know nothing about what's going on over there. Nah, do your research on where they're from. That's why they don't like to tell you where they're from nowadays, too. You ever notice that? When they be in these Twitter spaces, you be like, hey, where your family from? They start lying. I'm from this. No. Where you from originally? Because see, they done caught on to that some of us be like, yeah, some of us either done been there, or some of us be like, oh, okay, hold on a second. Why you talking spicy? Tick, 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 tick. Go ahead and pull up some information. Oh, why is this big old slum over there you hadn't cleaned up? Oh, no wonder you ran from over here, you little flea bag, you. Yeah, see? I'm going there with it. So I want to teach y'all how you really get them and shut them up, man. Because see, when you start telling them what home is like, man, they get real quiet then. Salute to, I see here, Gedalia coming in the chat room. Salute to you, man. Welcome. Appreciate the subscription, brother. You're going to learn a lot over here. Go through the archives, man. This is an educational channel. We have a little bit of fun over here also. But I'm going to play this next clip here of this heifer, right? I want y'all to listen to this, right? To go to show you back to how that white worship come into play here. Let's let this continue.
A black man, it is your responsibility to understand the history and the trauma of...
No, it's not. Don't listen to these people. If you are a white girl dating a black guy and you want to do the little boyfriend haul trend that people are doing on TikTok, go ahead and do it. If you see a white girl showing off her black boyfriend and talking about what model she got like everybody else does in the trend, and you think about slavery, that's your problem, not her.
See how this heifer sound? No, it's not. See, this is a person that doesn't have any sense of personal pride because, see, no matter whether you're of our lineage or not, if you really looked at black people the way most foundational black Americans do, you wouldn't find that funny if anybody did it. But this heifer is defending that also she can advertise because, see, pay attention. When heifers are doing this, it's an advertising campaign to Zaddy saying, see, Zaddy, look, I'll toe the line. I'll act like I don't see your racism. And that's what they're doing. They're campaigning for Zaddy. You are absolutely pathetic if that's what you got to do to get a white man. And notice our sisters don't have to be on TikTok making an ass of themselves to get white Zaddy to break bread or nothing else. They really don't. That's you. You got to get on here and do that, heifer, with your little peanut head ass. Let me let this heifer continue because I'm finna light her ass up, man.
Her problem? Dude, it's like people have to inject race and racism into literally every single thing. Even a TikTok trend where a white girl would be celebrating her interracial relationship.
That's not celebrating an interracial relationship, you damn dumbass. You don't sit up here and let nobody objectify you like you a piece of cattle or some meat or an object of some sort. See, this is the difference between some of us and some of them, the tether class. Not talking about all, I am talking about the tether class. Let me be 100% articulate and clear on what I'm saying. I am applying this to the tether class of these people that act this way. That's nothing to be celebrated. But see, let me tell you why she thinks it's something to celebrate. She thinks that just a white person acknowledging you, period, is something to celebrate. I would love to see what her father and her mother was teaching her. Okay? And see, sadly, this is why some Nigerians have that reputation, not just here in America, but over there on the continent. They will tell you, wherever they go, there's a stigma that follows Nigerians. I know it's not all, because I know some cool-ass Nigerians, real talk. I'm going to start having some of the brothers and sisters that I know from different parts of the diaspora coming over here from time to time. Be looking for that in the new year. We're going to really get into some deep conversations coming in the new year. But this is a problem with people like her, tethers like her, okay? They think that any attention from white folks is good attention. No, Heifer, some of us still have something called dignity, okay? We respect ourselves. See, this is exactly why the countries are in the situation that it's in now, because they have normalized disrespect, mistreatment, and abuse. As long as you get some interracial access out the deal, let's let this fool continue, man.
Let that sink in. Even proclamations of love and affection can somehow have the race narrative injected into them. If your boyfriend is not bothered by it, do your boyfriend haul and post it on TikTok for everybody to see. Let them be bothered.
What is absolute foolery, man? In America, your race is your team. That's why we're bothered by it. With that little Forest Valley girl accent, they sicken me when they do that, man. They'll do that. Look, the leaps and bounds that they'll go to try and impress Zaddy, man. But see, I showed y'all that here because I want you to see exactly how they get to that mindset of being on their knees, crawling over the white people. Because see, I'm going to tell you something. It's not just King Charles that she would have did that for. I promise you it ain't. I promise you it ain't. It's not just King Charles that lady would have did that for, and people that think like her, right? So here's something I included in this broadcast also, because see, this question is asked by a lot of our young black people that aren't well versed in history or hadn't had anybody to teach them that, because we know the American public food system is not worth much with education. It is our job and responsibility to educate our children, right? So I'm going to let this sister speak right here, and I'm going to give some commentary on what she's saying.
Exactly did black people ever do? Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-blackness in every single community? We were brought over here in chains. We were beat, raped, and murdered. We fought for our freedom just to end up with Jim Crow and segregation and being lynched by the KKK. We were segregated into our own communities, then denied jobs, denied funding for our schools. You kill our black men, then make fun of us for not having fathers. You dehumanize and demonize and kill our black women, and nobody bats an eye. What exactly did black people do? What exactly did we do?
We didn't do anything but survive, sister. That's the answer to the question. We didn't do anything but survive because, see, again, like I stated earlier in the broadcast, when you look at all the things that foundational black Americans have gone through and survived that should have wiped us out and we still here, you better understand that the oppressor that has inflicted those things on you, not only do they look at you with awe, they look at you with fear. That's what they look at. They look at us like, okay, can we really get rid of these niggas? Because they've been trying everything. Still trying everything. Hadn't worked yet. And see, what's happening? Our numbers are increasing. Theirs are decreasing. And there's nothing you can do about it, dominant society, because you refuse to produce justice by God's children. Oh, yeah, I'm going there with it. I'm going there with it. See, they claim to serve God, but you can't, because, see, if you really did, dominant society, if you really was serving the Most High that fathers over all of us, you would not be trying to mistreat anybody that's a fellow brother in Christ of yours, if you're a Christian, okay? You wouldn't, but see, you don't produce justice by us at all. You go out your way, no matter what's going on in this country, to focus on oppressing black people. There have been studies shown that financial institutions have lost money for practicing racism against lending money to black people or what have you. You just think about it. They're willing to lose money. That's why that money don't really mean that much to them if they can't practice white supremacy with it. It's the economic engine of the system of white supremacy. So that's the only thing that money really means to them. If they couldn't oppress us with it, wouldn't really have no value, man. And that's a sad state of affairs. So we didn't do anything to them to answer that sister's question. And you better make sure that you teach your children that early. Have those conversations with them. You don't want them to get to that sister's age and really be asking that question, wondering what happened or what did we do to them. No, we didn't do anything to these people. So now this next portion of this I'm going to play. I want you to hear this Jamaican sister give her take on why she believes certain stereotypes. And I'm going to break something down about it. Let's let her speak.
So I want to respond to this quickly because I need people to understand that one of the reasons that Jamaicans and other African diaspora people react to African Americans and talk about African Americans in a way they do is because this was taught to us by white America. This is part of what I'm studying now in my graduate program. When they first started to recruit people to come to work here, right, about 5 or 6 decades ago, they told them that the African Americans were lazy people and they did not want to work.
So now I'm going to pause it right here. Now, here's the question I have asked many of my continental African and Caribbean friends, because they won't tell you this if you have candid discussions with them without trying to be irate or angry. Sometimes the best thing to do is communicate with people so you can get an understanding of their mindset and their upbringing. So my question is always this. If you know anything about the history of these demonic creatures, the white supremacists in your nations, why would you be quick to believe anything that they tell you about other black people that look like you? You should think that, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to interact with my people or the people in the extended diaspora myself, and then I will make my assessment off of how they treat me. That's what an intelligent person does. And when you ask that question, you'll be surprised at a lot of answers that you get. And so you take notes and learn because, see, they often tell you what their parents taught them, okay, like she's saying here, and then what other white people told them. I'm going to tell you like my great-grandfather, rest his soul, told me, he said, boy, if the white, thin, pink lips are moving, they lying. You better check, triple check, and quadruple check everything that come out their thin ass lips, because if their mouth is moving, they lying. And I'm going to tell you right now, I took his advice and it has served me very well. I don't trust them people no further than I can throw this damn planet, man. But see, you have a history of lying culture, white supremacists. Think about this. There are certain things that we don't even pay attention to that show you that you really can't trust them besides just blatant anti-black racism. Look at how they think lying itself is a joke. What they call it, a little white lie. How many times have we heard that phrase over here, a little white lie? A lot of times the little white lies they tell are about big things, okay? So if you normalize deception and deceit, I can't trust you. I can't. Okay, so that's the question that I would ask. I'm going to let the sister continue because we're going to break down a couple more things.
Meanwhile, at that time, it was because they didn't want to pay African Americans more money. They wanted to give them slavery wages. But African Americans were trying to hold out for more pay. Instead of paying African Americans more, what they did was recruit black people from the Caribbean, at that time controlled by Britain. So it was very easy for them to convince Britain that, hey, send those people who are down there with no jobs to our country to work.
And that's the running joke that white supremacy plays on black immigrants and any other immigrants that come over here. Let me go ahead and state what that running joke is. They get you from places where your countries are not developed, okay, and they've had hands in destroying those countries too. And then they take you and put you over here and work you to death for light next to nothing. And then you start thinking, okay, well, hey, this is better than back home. Boy, I'm coming up now. I'm doing. And then we're looking at you like, man, you let these people work you that hard, man, and they're not gonna pay you a fair rate for that. See, we know what we're worth over here. We ain't gonna accept that at all. And see, let's delve into this lazy thing that white people like to say about us. Family, I want y'all to remember something. When it comes to them calling us lazy, think about it. If somebody that you competing against is lazy, that's good for you, right? I want y'all to really think about that. See, white supremacy, if you stay calm and logical and think and dissect and debunk that crap, You can see the insanity and throw it right back in their face and make them look foolish. If I have a lazy competitor and I'm trying to win at something, that's good for me. I'm going to encourage you to be even more lazy. But see, it's the opposite of that is true. They know we work harder than any damn body in this country. We've had to because we had to learn how to do more with less over generations. This is why they fear us having an even playing field. And you black immigrants that come over here, you better really play this portion of what I said back to you. You're not doing so much better than us. They blowing smoke up your ass because they pay you less and you work like a damn fool for less. And all the time they sit there laughing at you because they know that they ain't gonna get us to do it like that. They gonna pay us what we worth. I'll be down. We've learned how to work smarter, not harder. And ain't nothing wrong with hard work as long as you being compensated for it. But I'm gonna tell you like this, especially young people that find this broadcast, your objective in the modern era today with all this technology and all these different ways to make money, you damn right. You ain't got no business trying to figure out how to work hard. You work smart. Don't you ever work yourself to death and let these people guilt trip you because you don't work hard. As long as you're able to maintain yourself and support your family and everything, hey, don't you let them guilt trip you talking about how hard you work, and they don't work hard. How you gonna let a people that have never done nothing in history on their own tell you about who work hard or not? They're the sorriest people on the planet. And everybody that's in the workforce now can attest to what I'm saying. They always the ones trying to cut corners, and they really can't get shit done. And really, when you look at most of these corporations, it's some very intelligent black people that's keeping that motherfucker together. Now tell me if I'm lying or not. So I want to make that point about that. I'm going to let her continue, though.
And when they came here, the white farm owners and those agricultural people told them and ingrained in them that the reason that they have to come to work is because African Americans don't want a job, right? They went back home and they carried the same message and told the people there. And so this is a trope that has been passed on for decades and decades, year after year, as more and more come. That is what they care because that's what they have been told. Now, when you come and you live amongst African Americans, and if you really look into the history and look at the systemic racism, you'll know that is not true. But then you also realize how difficult it is when someone grew up and was taught a certain kind of saying or a certain kind of belief. It's very difficult to get it out of them. So
shouldn't be that difficult because, like I just said before, the first rule of thumb, and I'm saying this to all continental Africans that have never been here and all Caribbean brothers and sisters that have never been here. Your first rule of thumb is say, okay, I see that, I hear that, but I'm going to find out myself. I'm going to talk to our people myself. That's what you got to do. A people with a history of lies, you should question everything that come out their mouth. You better learn the game from us over here because see what they don't want to see. You better look up Memorandum 46, okay? Look up Memorandum 46 and see what their worst fear was in that doctrine. That now they're trying to claim that it's fake. No, it wasn't. That's an actual presidential memo. I'm not going to even tell you what's in it. I'm going to make y'all do your own homework. Look up Memorandum 46. Read that and see what their biggest fear was about black people in America and about black people in the global black diaspora. But I'm going to let her finish here because, see, I got another lesson. A lot of black people don't really like to hear things unless it come from white folks. I got something coming up that's really going to teach y'all about some things in a minute. I'm going to let her continue.
I know that it is not true. I know that it's because people want decent wages for the work that they do. But yeah, it is absolutely true that a lot of Caribbean people, Jamaicans included, and other diaspora people have bought into this trope that African Americans are lazy.
When I tell you it was...
Now, I want to give you a disclaimer if you've stayed with us here tonight to this portion of the broadcast. Let me explain something to you about this. And I always try to give disclaimers when I know I'm about to present something to you that might be jarring or a bit heavy to take. If you're a person that is well-versed in our history, or if you're a person that is not well-versed in our history, what you're about to hear next may be hard for you to digest and listen to. But I'm putting it in here because you need to hear their own people tell you how vicious and how demonic they have been to us and about the atrocities inflicted. So I'm warning you now, brace yourself for what you're about to hear. I'm going to let this white woman speak.
heinous. I'm going to have to be careful how I word this so that I don't get in trouble, but I think it needs to be said because I am sick and tired of hearing people say that people of color just need to get over it already because it was so long ago. No, it wasn't. My father remembers his father raising hunting dogs that he would rent out on the weekend for hunting parties, only these weren't regular hunting parties. These big bubbas would set up these almost lemonade type stands during the week and sell these little cards for like, I don't know, a nickel, 25 cents. They were person of color hunting licenses. And everyone who bought one during the week, they would gather together on the weekend with all their trucks and they would round up as many people of color in the surrounding areas as they could find, turn them loose in the woods and set the dogs after them. There are people alive today whose family were hunted down in the woods by dogs. And they raised their children to have a well-earned distrust of white people and of police officers. Because I guarantee you, any of the police officers that weren't wearing the hoods were turning a blind eye. This town, Vidor, Texas, at one time, I believe was known as the most racist city in the United States. It was a sundown town. They had a billboard that said,
I'm gonna pause what she's saying right there because Vidor, Texas is one, but there are modern day sundown downtowns still across this country. Rebecca, Georgia is one of them. There are many others. We saw what happened to our brother Ahmaud Arbery down there in Brunswick. I just want to point that part out. See, I commend her for saying this. Because, see, it's one thing for us to study the history and present reading material on documented history. It's another when they're telling you what's in their family that they know of, the things that we haven't seen that they have hidden in their attics, that they joke about when it's just them in the presence of each other. Family, when I tell you, I don't care how well skilled or well studied many of our academics are with this history, we don't know the half of what these people done to us. I'm gonna let her continue.
person of color, don't let the sun set on your and anyone who is not white knew you don't drive through Vidor after dark. Even truckers would avoid that route if they weren't 100% certain that they could make it through before sundown, because God forbid they had a blowout or some sort of mechanical trouble in Vidor, Texas after dark, because they had citizens and police officers patrolling looking for them. If you were in Vidor, Texas after dark and you were not white, you probably wouldn't be seen again, or at least you wouldn't be seen in one piece. It's hard for me to talk about. The library sold t-shirts with rifles across it that said, "People of color, we're ready for you." The Klan marched down Main Street openly and with full support of the municipalities and the people until 1985. 1985.
Now, family, you heard what that white woman just said. She ain't making that up. She ain't doing that for likes, clicks, or views. I put that at the end of the broadcast tonight because, see, I want it to be a stark reminder of why we're fighting to get these reparations over here, that we are owed. That's just a small portion of the demonic terror that's been inflicted on us. I've often told you of the book, The Delectable Negro by Vincent Woodard. That is a very heavy read. If you would like to know more about that, go get that book. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be able to read that book straight through. Most of us, no matter how much we know, picking up that book, we've never been able to read it straight through. You're going to have to take breaks from that because it goes into vivid detail about what they did to our people. So when you hear these Sambos and Sambits coming over here telling us what we shouldn't have, let me explain something to you in the tether class. That's what was inflicted on our people. How dare you bring your ass over here for the same ancestors that fought for you to have the right to come and tell us what we shouldn't get? When that has been inflicted on our people, they fed black babies to alligators, cut the wounds open of black women and stomped the babies to death. Nah, that's why we take that serious when you come over here. We don't go to your country trying to tell you what you shouldn't have. And this is exactly why we do not take kindly to grown-ass people on their knees crawling towards damn tyrants that have done some of the same shit to their people. You don't believe me? You look down the archives of my channel. I got plenty of history over here. If you don't know, you'll find the history on this channel. Just go through anything. So I'm going to wrap the broadcast up, family. I hope we presented a thorough examination of that mindset and that white worship and why we have to combat it. By the time anybody looks at this broadcast, they won't be confused on where that mindset comes from, because that's just a small window and a glimpse into how they become that way from youth to adulthood in many different countries that we examine. We got to do our part and stay on code, family. So with that said, I want to encourage all of you to get ready to celebrate Arutisuse, the foundational Black American holiday created by our brother Tariq Nasheed. Doesn't matter if you like him or not. Dr. John Henry Clark said, when it comes to our holidays, we don't ask these people for a day, we take a day. With that said, family, salute to everybody that contributed to the broadcast. Thank you for showing up. I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. If this is your first time over here, we try to bring subjects that are not often talked about over here from different perspectives for the education and empowerment of our people. Salute to everybody. Black first. I will see you all in future content.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Maroons. Typically in literature, whites will say that the Maroons were uncivilized, they were unorganized, they were lewd, they were barbaric. These were the people who lived in the bush.
There is no other group on the planet Earth that have taken on the devil the way we have, in his own house.
Some estimates say that there are about 50,000 Maroons that you can find per year throughout the Americas.
The Great Dismal Swamp was an area between that Virginia, North Carolina, the eastern border area. This was a popular area for a lot of not only runaways, but natives. A lot of the black natives hung out there. The Gullah Geechee were known in that area.
Because that's who we are. You can put us anywhere in the world. We are survivors.
If you are really tapped in with your environment and you become one with that ecosystem, right? You know what I'm saying? That ecosystem begins to work with you.
We were robbed of our definition of who we were, which is our nationality and our tribe. And we fell into the description of what we were from someone else's eyes.
Resistance is not just about not only violence and physically fighting back, but there has to be resistance literature, resistance language.
A whole 2 detachments of U.S. soldiers got mowed down by the Black Seminoles. They destroyed an entire U.S. military force. Out of 110 people, they killed 108. That's damn good shooting.
The Black Seminoles were using all types of guerrilla warfare tactics, and these warfare tactics are studied in military schools to this day.
They didn't like Muslim slaves. The same reason they didn't like Indian slaves, because they weren't afraid to die.
Once you realize you're not safe, your children and your families aren't safe. The people who you're bringing in the world are not going to be safe long after you. There becomes a need to stand up and survive at all costs.
We are the Maroons. We are today's Maroons. We are the force that's moving forward. We will never be stopped.